Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Tuesday. Welcome aboard. Ooh, I should start saying that at the beginning of the Pirates Weeks. Welcome aboard. Welcome back to another Delve Requisite Tuesday night here at Proficiency Bonus. As always, I am your humble Dungeon Master, Matt, and I am blocking Scylla's nameplate today. I am joined by the crew of the Grimm's Folly. Oh, Macbeth is in disguise. I was like, that's not the right dwarf. I forgot. So, quick update before we jump into anything else. Let us thank some sponsors. I want to give a shout out, as always, to Proficiency Bonuses sponsors Little Dragon Corp and Cardboard Castle Games. You guys can type in the chat at any point during tonight's stream !CCG for a link to Cardboard Castle Games, or an ! Little Dragon for a link to Little Dragon Corp. I showed them off last week. These are my the green screen's not quite the same. Oh yeah, no, I guess so. I guess you can't tell as much. You can't tell as much on this one as the other one. These are my Little Dragon Corp dice. Typically, my green screen keys them out so they look like they're invisible. Not as easy to tell in the Pirates background. But Little Dragon Corp is a purveyor of fine tabletop gaming dice. And you can, if you're in need of some dice, you can check out their website, and you can use our code PROBONUS at checkout to get a 10% discount on your order. Thank you, Little Dragon Corp. And
also,
Cardboard.
just so you know, they have 2 days left in their Kickstarter for the UV dice, where their character, Mooney, goes to hell. So, like, all of the dice are, like, hell-inspired, and they're sharp-edged and they glow.
All right, we'll check those out. So maybe somebody can drop a link in chat for us to that Kickstarter for Little Dragon Corp's
Got it.
Underworld dice set. Thank you. There it is in chat. Where were we? Yes, Cardboard Castle Games, a brick and mortar tabletop gaming store located here in the United States in Evans, Georgia. But don't worry if you don't live in Evans, Georgia, because the internet exists. And that allows you to watch shows like this and to buy things from tabletop game stores in Evans, Georgia, even if you don't live there. They have a robust online site that you can purchase any of your tabletop gaming needs and have them shipped directly to your place of residence. That covers our sponsors. Let's hit a recap and let's get going, because I, for one, I'm excited. Oh, I'm so excited. It's been a hard wait for this session. Some very, very fun things are going on. So the crew of the Grimm's Folly. We rejoin our adventure in the Ignean Empire, the city of Umyathdurai. A city that the crew has come to seeking answers about some sort of a plot that they've stumbled upon, where somebody by the only name they have, the name Pendragon, seems to be interested in the acquisition of individuals known as Lunar Warriors, Kalashtar from the island of Naporia. Party member Nymue being a native of Naporia and a Kalashtar herself, and one who is currently searching for a lost brother, a lost twin brother who left Naporia and is somewhere out in the world, has stumbled upon this and is the party is very keen on learning what is going on here, as the Ignean Empire having such an interest in Naporian lunar warriors, and especially the way they have decided to go about it via paying slavers to bring them to the slave markets here at Umyathdurai is concerning, to say the least. Last week, we left the party as they arrived at Umyathdurai and did a little bit of reconnaissance. They made their way to the grand market of Umyathdurai, this large, massive open market ringed by physical buildings that have storefronts and shops and various things, but also containing all of these open air markets and things in this area, which is on the map to I guess this is stage left. That big open area right above the skull there on our overlay is the market. They went, did a little bit of reconnaissance, and discovered the individual who is listed on the letter that they came across, and is apparently sort of the buyer named in Pendragon's letter for whom slavers were supposed to be bringing Naporians. They met with and spoke to this individual, a high elven, essentially slave broker by the name of Aelorn Relolian, who, from what the party was able to gather, just is some sort of a middleman, it seems, for whatever is kind of going on here. Rowan was briefly possessed by the spirit of a Karen, and dealt with Relolian, kind of speaking to him on his level, which was to be absolutely awful.
Terrible. I still feel terrible.
The original plan had been to present Nymue as a Naporian turncoat who is interested in selling out her people. But the way things kind of shook out, the party ended up selling Nymue to Relolian. The group were brought to a portion of the slave market where they kind of learned that Relolian he'd been doing this for a while, and they know that several legitimate Naporians have been brought to him. But he kind of indicated that people were trying to pass off fakes as Naporians, bringing people with dyed hair and faked Naporian armor and faked tattoos and stuff. And after the first couple of times, he started testing anybody that was brought to him. So he basically made Nymue fight a captive orc that was in the pens at these slave markets, to get her to basically use her supernatural Naporian Kalashtar abilities to prove that she was the real deal. Unbeknownst to him, however, Nymue communicated telepathically with the orc. The orc who you guys found out was named Mokral, who was the chieftain of the Longtooth tribe of orcs. He told Nymue, and who had been captured. Nymue sort of cut a deal with this Mokral that they threw the fight, and she proved what she needed to prove, and she promised Mokral that her and her party had a plan going on and would see his other orc bulls freed from slavery. There are 9 orcs total being held here. So that promise was made to this Mokral, this chieftain of this Longtooth tribe. And then Nymue was left in the care of the slavers, locked in a cage in the markets, and left there. Taken her arms and armaments and things were taken from her. She gave them to the party, and they left with them. And then she was left there. The party kind of helped Rowan to deal with the fallout of the aftermath of the channeling of the Karen. Was a little hard on Rowan psychologically. The party kind of helped her deal with that, and then basically found a nearby tavern, the Babbling Brook Tavern, run by a very sad elf named Lawrence, where they waited. They've basically been waiting for most of the day now to see what's going to happen to Larry. They want to follow Nymue to find out what's going to happen, where she's going to be taken, because they're trying to find out where these Naporians are being taken after their soul. We ended last week's session with Nymue locked up, party in the tavern, and Nymue being approached two individuals wearing these all white outfits, approached and met with Aelorn Relolian's assistant, man that you guys know is named half elf that you guys know is named Doral. Met these 2 individuals there. It's nightfall. It's a couple of hours after dark at this point. So it's probably about 10 o'clock And Dural has been met by these two men wearing these like all white outfits in this this sort of like wagon they have. It's kind of like a paddy wagon almost, where the back of it's entirely enclosed and it has like some windows, but there's like bars on it, and it has these like two doors in the back which have a heavy bar that sits in front of them, and they're locked. And Nymue, you overheard a conversation between Dural and these two individuals where you heard the name of what you gauged to be a location based on, Dural kind of said like, oh, they'll be happy to have another one of these at this place. And the name of that place that you heard was Serengrass. And the other, one of the men responded, the man had said, oh, your master will be happy to have another one of these at Serengrass. And the man responded, Arcanist the Scene is not our master, but yes, I'm sure he'll be pleased. So you gleaned those two pieces of information. You sent a quick message to McCrawl saying, like, be patient, we'll be back for you. And now you are being, like, removed from this cage. What are you doing?
I'm trying to keep note of movement. So if we're turning left or if we're turning right, how long we're going straight, follow, like, keeping note of the path. So if my party struggles to find me, I can either mentally or with the ring give them some idea of where I am, listening for, like, rivers, listening for other traffic.
Okay. So you haven't actually started moving yet. You've been put into the back of this cart, right? And these two men get in the back with you, which is a little weird at first because like there's not a third guy to drive that you can see. But one of them is handed the control stone for that like shock collar that they put on you, and they get into the back of the cart with you. They close the door. You can hear like Dural's footsteps as he like leaves.
Which one has my remote?
Let's say there's one.
I saw the guy hand it to one of them.
Yes, so one of them has it. We'll say one of them has brown hair. They're both humans, by the way. One of them has brown hair. One of them has blonde hair. We'll say just this way you can kind of differentiate them because you don't know what their names are. The one with brown hair has the stone for that collar.
Okay.
And they close this door and they turn to you, and the one with the brown hair, the one holding your control stone, he says to you, now, my lady, we're going to take you somewhere now, and if everyone is calm and reasonable, there's no need that anyone needs to be hurt or violence needs to be enacted. He kind of smiles a little bit and he says, this will not be the first interaction that we've had with Naporian. We would prefer that everything stay civil as possible and everything will be just fine. And, he says that, and his words say that, like, they don't want you to, like, try and roughhouse them, but you kind of, you hear the implicit threat in that as well, that, like, he's got that stone. So he's being, like, surprisingly, like, pleasant and kind of gentle. And he says, now, for everyone's safety, it is required that we will first be searching you, and then we will secure you for transport. I would very much appreciate it if you would cooperate. He turns, he gestures to the other men. My companion here will be conducting this search and securing procedures, and then we will be on our way. And the second man, the blonde man, he actually like pulls something from like a pocket. He pulls out what you see as like a long strip of like cloth, perfectly ordinary looking, and And the brown-haired man who's been talking to you, he turns around and he picks something off. There's like benches built into the inside of this cart, like, you know, kind of paddy wagon style where you can sit. There's something in the back corner sitting on one of these benches, and he picks it up, and it's also seems to be made of cloth. It is white, similarly to like their outfits. And you look at it, it's kind of this like confusing mass of like straps and buckles, and you're not really sure what it is.
Like arcs like a high eyebrow, like.
He picks this thing up, and
that's what we're into, but all right.
He holds this, and the blonde man comes up, and he approaches you, and he's like you can tell he's being cautious. He's like watching for any sudden movements, and he reaches up, and he's going to attempt to take this piece of cloth he has, and he's going to tie it over your eyes, around your head.
This is so dumb. It's not even. I don't even know if it's true. But she's gonna say it anyway. You know, this is usually something for like the marriage ceremony, but if we're going to skip right to the end, I just lean forward.
The brown-haired man kind of chuckles a little bit. The blonde-haired man is like far too nervous that you're gonna like break his arm or something. So he just goes. He ties this around your eyes so you can no longer see.
All right.
And then you hear something being like kind of shuffled and exchanged, and the brown-haired man says, "If you would kindly hold your hands straight out in front of you."
All right.
So you hold your hands out, and you feel something is like slipped over your arms.
Okay.
And it's kind of slipped over your arms. You feel this figure, somebody, one of the two of them, kind of like pulls this thing over your arms, and then kind of moves around like behind you, and reaches around you and like grabs and then like pulls this thing up over your shoulders and around your back, and you feel your arms. Yes, you feel your arms like pulled through these sleeves, but they're like interwoven in a way that as this thing is pulled up over you, it forces your arms like across and then around your body like this. And then there's like a series of like straps and buckles and things are pulled tightly like around your back, under your armpits, over your shoulders. One is like kind of like pulled up through like between your legs and up the front. And all of these buckles are secured. Whoever's doing this is they're not being like rough about it. You know, the straps are secured but not uncomfortable. You can tell that like care is being taken not to be like inappropriate. We lost somebody's camera. So you're put into this, you know, kind of this straitjacket, but it is done in a way that is kind of as civil as one can be put into a straitjacket.
All right.
Again, there we go. So they do that, and you feel like a pair of hands like kind of take your shoulders, and you're sort of guided to sit down onto this bench. Once your arms and stuff are secured, as you're like brought to this bench, you do feel yourself kind of like patted down. Is Nymue like hiding anything on her person?
Aside from the ring, I don't think so. I think she gave everything to Scylla.
And the ring, is that on her finger?
Yeah.
So it seems that the precaution that these two have taken in like wanting to make sure your like arms are secured has worked to your advantage, because the ring is inside the sleeves of these. So like they pat you down, but they don't find that ring.
Okay.
Because it's on your hand in the sleeves. You are like sat down on this bench, and you hear like the door to the back of this wagon open. The carriage kind of like jolts like once, twice, as you like feel them jump out, and then the door is closed, and you hear that brown-haired man from like outside the wagon say, "Just stay comfortable. It's only about it's a brief ride to get where we're going." And you kind of feel the carriage again sort of like rocks to one side. As like the two of them climb up into like the coachman's seat. You hear the crack of a whip, and you feel the carriage begin to move. Okay, so you are going. You're gonna like try and kind of get a sense of like where.
Yeah.
Okay.
Active perception checks. I guess it will just be from hearing and movement because they have me blinded. But at
Yes,
the
they
very
blindfold you. Make a. You can
listening
make a
and
perception
feeling my
check.
body move.
Yeah.
Oh. Do I do Naporia die? This seems appropriate. Let's do Naporia die. Okay, not bad. That's an 18. 14 plus 4.
Okay. So you. It's very difficult to tell like where you're brought as. This is an unfamiliar city. You don't hear yourself like cross over like a bridge with like water or anything like that. You gauge, as best you can tell. Actually, speaking of as best you can tell, let's zoom out our map a little bit here, so that the rest of the audience can see the more of the city. Zoop. You gauge. You think you move what you would gather to be south-ish for a little bit, and then you think maybe you turn. You think you turn like left, so you think you're heading like east for a little bit, and then you think vaguely you head south again for a little bit, and the whole ride takes about 10 minutes. So you think you maybe went a mile?
Okay, so I'm not gonna message them yet because I trust Scylla to like track that far. It's not that far. If we go like over a body of water, that's when I'll probably hit the alarm button. But at
Yeah,
the
so
moment, I trust my party not to, because
you
we only have
do-
2 more charges of this ring, right?
Right.
Okay.
You do it at one point here, with that 18, you do at one point here, like the waves, like here the ocean. I mean, like the whole city is coastal, so like, but you know, you get. It sounds like you get close to like the shoreline at one point during this ride.
All right.
And eventually you come to a stop. You can't really hear it from the back here. You hear one of those 2 guys in those white uniforms exchange words with somebody. You hear the sound of a gate being opened, and then the carriage rolls forward again for 30 seconds or so, goes maybe a few hundred yards. It comes to a stop, and you feel those 2 get off, and the door is opened. And that's, you hear the voice of that man with the brown hair. He says, "We have arrived. I'm going to come in and help you down from the carriage now, and we will bring you inside and see you checked in."
Can I at least see? You don't have to untie me, but it might be a little easier on my feet.
He says, keeping Naporians blindfolded has been made standard procedure for this operation. I'm afraid I'm not permitted to take
that was
the
like
blindfold
Kristy,
off
like
of you.
not thinking. That makes sense. And I think Nymue was like, "Oh right, yeah, that's fair."
Yes, I'm unfortunately I'm not permitted to do this. You kind of feel a pair of hands comes in, helps you to your feet, and guides you. And you think this is maybe the other guy now, because it's a different voice. You hear a voice as you kind of come to the edge, says, "Watch your step." And you're like helped down out of the wagon. And you are kind of led over what you kind of feel like very fine, almost like manicured gravel beneath your boots. And you were led forward, and
Actually, they're probably getting into my sandals because I don't wear boots.
you have sandals? Yeah, it says...
like those Japanese sandals.
Okay. Well, yeah, some little teeny bits of like rocky gravel is like getting in your... Very, very fine. Kind of like kicking between your toes a little bit. But you're led, and eventually you're brought up a set of... couple of steps. You hear a door opened. And... let's see. No, as you have. There's nothing like You don't have any like enchantments currently like going on you, right?
I don't believe.
I don't think so. And that ring is not like an active enchantment.
But I don't think I have. Yeah, I don't have anything on me.
Okay, so you are led into a building.
Okay.
You hear the door close behind you, and you hear a woman's voice say, "Oh my, Thorcina's had another one delivered, yes." And you hear what who you are gauging to have been that, like the blonde of the two men, goes, "Yes." And that's all he says, but you kind of hear in his voice like this, like there's almost this like dark trepidation to his voice. Like that single word is like ominous. And the
Ominous
woman,
to me or just everyone in this
just
room?
like the thought that like somebody is being brought to Thyxes, like you sense the tension between these two, that they're like, ugh.
Ooh.
You get a sense that like Thyxes scares these people.
Okay.
She says, I have a question about Kalashtar that I should have looked up before this. Do you share the elven trait of being unable to be put to sleep?
I don't. Well, I don't believe so. I can't dream. I can sleep, but I can't dream.
So you're not actually, I did look this up now that I'm thinking about it. You are able to be put to sleep, but you are not able to be like, so like a sleep spell can knock you out, but like a spell like dream does not. I did look that up. So
a dream spell won't work on me.
the woman says, you hear that woman's voice. She says, "Very well, keep area. I will go to the dispensary and retrieve the medication." And you hear like footsteps walk away.
I'm sorry, what? Why are we medicating me? I don't consent to that.
You kind of hear the who you gather to be the blonde man beside you says, "You have been quite cooperative there so far."
I'm very cooperative. I'm not going anywhere. I don't do well with drugs.
He says, "You shouldn't have been." And
Shouldn't have been as cooperative.
Yeah.
Pull the heads up a little bit late, buddy.
we're gonna cut away from Nymue. Oh, push the button. We're gonna cut away from Nymue. So we're back at the Babbling Brook Tavern at this point. About the same time. It's about 10 o'clock. It's it's evening time. What are you guys up to in the tavern here at this point?
I think like knowing that like Nymue told us like something was happening around like the end of the day, like probably like around like sundown, I feel like would we have like moved to the market or like
Yeah, I think that's what we talked about a little bit last week. But then we cut to Kristy or to Nymue, so we didn't quite say exactly what we were doing.
Okay. So yeah, we can say that you guys let's how are we gonna let's do this. Let's do it this way. You guys go to leave the tavern shortly after. You wait like a little bit after sundown, like once the sun is all the way down. And you go to leave the tavern. So it's dark outside as you leave, and you kind of begin to head over towards like the market where you guys were before. And as you guys make your way out of the tavern and start to head towards the market, you come around a corner, and who's like leading the charge here? Who's kind of in front?
I don't know if it should be me. I feel like it should be Thyxes. Well, are we trying to track her right now, or just like getting to like a waiting point?
You guys told me you were like planning to go
I think we
back
were
to the
just gonna go
markets,
look.
right? So like we whatever you guys are gonna do once you get there, like we haven't reached that point yet, right? Like you're like walking out of the bar and like heading down like a street from the bar. Just what order are you guys walking? Like who's in front?
I honestly would probably be closer to the front because I'm anxious.
Okay.
So
Yeah, then let's do
would
that. We'll
be
say that
anxious to go
Rowan. We'll say that Rowan is in the front. But Rowan, you are kind of
I'm
out front.
afraid.
You're walking on these like quick strides, that kind of like trying to work this nervous energy out. And you walk like past a corner, and as you round this corner, you are collided into by something hits you at like waist height, and you kind of are like it doesn't like you weren't tackled. Somebody runs like headlong into you. So you kind of stagger back. This figure that hit you, like, stands about waist height, like, slams into your midsection and, like, falls back on its, like, hindquarters, looks up, draws back a hood with a pair of three-fingered avian hands, and Tea Kettle is staring up at you.
Tea Kettle,
And
No,
Tea Kettle...
honey, what are you doing here?
Bestie, what are you doing? Make good choices.
Tea Kettle has, like, wide eyes right now. And Tea Kettle, like,
She
looks
panicked.
a little panicked. Sees the group of you. Sees that you're all there. Gestures for you to, like, get close, gather in. And as you come around,
You left the trail of feathers. What is going on?
Tea Kettle opens her beak and speaks in Melted Snow's voice. And
God.
Tea Kettle says... Tea Kettle says in Melted Snow's voice...
Oh no! Does this mean the rutabaga account is back to 0?
I took it off for tonight, but we're gonna have to reset it to 0. Oh, days since a rutabaga joke. 0. Oh no.
Under 10 minutes ago when Brittney and I saw it, nobody else saw
Oh,
it.
I wasn't looking the first time.
I was typing something in the chat, so if he wasn't making noise, it was like only the person speaking that was like in my little window. I didn't see it.
Tea Kettle says in Melted Snow's voice, "Sirs and ladies, we are at the ship. Several men in dark cloaks have come. We are hiding now. They are preparing to board the ship. They do not wear the insignias of the Imperials. They are armed. We are going to hide, but we are going to send the Tea Kettle to find you. We will do what we can to keep them from taking the ship if that is what they desire. But hurry back with all haste, please."
Shit.
Rowan?
Man.
Rowan just kind of like pulls Tea Kettle close to her side and like kind of like rubs her shoulder a little, like her back of her head and everything,
Kind
like
of,
trying
kind
to
of
like, calm her down a
Tea
little.
Kettle and Tea Kettle sort of like accepts this for like a moment, but is like
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
pats you off and is like,
Yeah,
My God. My head is on that ship! And Murderbeard like starts running.
you.
so Murderbeard immediately takes off at the docks. Tea Kettle like sees this, she goes like, and runs after him, and you kind of hear like as she goes like, "My God!" and like she's running behind Murderbeard. Thyxes, Rowan, and Scylla. What do you guys do?
Thyxes hesitates for a moment, looks at Captain running, looks at Rowan and Scylla, and said, Captain, you two, help Nymue!" And then I run after Captain.
Okay, so Thyxes, Tea Kettle, and Macbeth start heading back towards the ship.
Look at
Scylla and
Rowan.
Rowan is clearly internally screaming. Okay, this is bad. Let's go get Nymue. We need Nymue.
Okay. Shit, do I? Oh man.
I'm gonna like Matt. Why are you trying to make us all throw up from anxiety on stream?
Matt was like, "This is gonna be the episode where
This
we
is
live
why you were so
stream,
excited
like,
to play.
3 different people vomiting tonight."
My garbage can's all the way over there. Oh god.
Let's just go back to the ship quickly. My spell to locate her it has a range. I can still speak to her from the ring too. But it's Captain and Thyxes right now that we're going to go speak to some dark-robed people.
But what if they? I mean, I know we can talk to her through the rings, but what if they move her farther? What if we can't find her?
I will find her.
Okay,
I'm gonna start walking towards the ship.
Okay.
I do not listen. My fake name is on the ship, and if
Fake
we
name is on the ship.
Oh, I forgot about that. Rowan. So Rowan's literally standing in the street.
Yeah, Rowan, you're by yourself. Thyxes and Murderbeard like took off running. Scylla followed at a more casual pace, slightly behind them. You're now by yourself, just in the street.
Yeah.
What was Scylla's fake name?
Oh my god, it was Philia.
Philia, and you named the ship the Seaquill, and told the harbor master that you guys were like fishing merchants.
Okay. Rowan's going to just look up at the sky and just go, "Keep Nymue safe, please," and then start running towards the ship. And you can tell, like, she like, it kind of like takes her a minute to actually start moving, but like, she can't do anything alone. She can't track. She can't do anything. She knows better. So
and the moon is like, "You got it, Rowan."
The moon is like, "I am not your god. Go away."
The moon and Azuria's rings above twinkle, but do not answer your plea as you take off running behind the rest of the group. What kind of approach are you guys gonna make to the ship as you head back in that direction? Are you like just barreling to the ship and up the gangplank? Are you gonna get to like the docks and then try to stealth up? What's your approach? And I guess I should ask Thyxes and Murderbeard, along with Tea Kettle, are you waiting for the others to catch up?
I'm following Captain's lead, so whatever Captain says.
I would say we get there, but then we don't just barge in and try and assess the situation.
Okay. So you guys kind of get to the dock, the end of the dock, where you know that the Seaquill has been moored. There's really nobody on the street at this point. Like, the sun has gone down. People are kind of like about to. There's some like lamps and things on some of the decks of some of the other ships. But you see, there's not really anybody kind of around. You guys slow down a little bit, enough to kind of like prepare to make an approach, and that gives like Scylla and Rowan time to catch up. So the 5 of you, the 4 of you in Tea Kettle, are kind of there. There is, you can see about 100 feet down the dock, you see where the Seaquill is moored. You can see that one of the deck lamps is like lit on the vessel, and you can see like the lamplight is kind of like flickering every now and again, as if there's definitely people on the deck of the ship right now.
Captain, I say running up to them. I don't know.
Can we see roughly how many people are on the deck?
You're gonna have to get closer before you can kind of scope that out.
But could I theoretically be able to do it using a spyglass?
Probably not from there, like, because you're sort of level with the ship. I would say if you want, I'm trying to make the music here. It's either too loud or too quiet for you can get a little, if you get a little closer and like maybe get some like a little vantage, maybe like climb on top of some crates or something, you could probably look upon the deck of the ship.
I will attempt to do that then.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to make a stealth check.
15.
15. Okay. Okay. You kind of creep forward, you climb across top some like crates, and you like put out the spyglass and you look. And there are, it looks like you count, quickly you clock 6 figures up on the deck. They're all wearing like dark clothing. You don't see any like insignias. 2 of them are wearing, like you guys saw earlier in the day, you saw those individuals, like there was some individuals walking like around on the streets that were like head to toe covered. 2 of them are wearing garments like that. One of them is wearing clothes that are still dark, but not like the kind of like black of the others. They're a little bit lighter, and look like they're maybe a little bit better made, and like the cloak is like cinched and the hood pulled up, and you gauge, it's hard to tell in the darkness, but like in the lamplight you think maybe it might be like a deep crimson robe instead of a black robe.
I will convey the information to somebody else of what I saw.
Well, what are we doing?
Why they're after our ship?
They probably thought it had nobody on it, or that they could take out the people that we left.
It's of Naporian make. Perhaps they thought they'd get a little bonus gift. But we are simple fishmongers. We have nothing to hide. I'm just not very persuasive, so maybe we should go talk to them, but not me.
Is that spell you put on me, to make me more charismatic, is that still going? How long does that last?
That's only like an hour.
I thought so. Okay, I was like, I don't think
I
that's
was
still
gonna
here.
say right now, I'm probably
Right now, you're probably what?
our best bet.
You are.
You and
I mean,
Thyxes, yeah.
I have
Anyone
a-
but literally anyone but me.
I mean,
I
I can talk to them. I just need some help. And what's the play here? I mean, what are
We are here to buy and sell goods, and we are not understanding why they are on our ship. We paid our fee. We registered with the dockmaster. There's no reason for these people to be on our ship.
So I will just, we could just approach and just ask, is there some sort of problem? I mean, we don't know why they're here, to find out. And
All right,
what do you
Right.
think, Captain?
follow my lead. I got an idea.
All
so
Are
guys
we all
begin.
going? Okay.
Okay, so you begin to head towards the vessel. Are you trying to like be stealthy to get like right up to the vessel before they notice you, or are you just trying to like are you like trying to make a bunch of noise? Like, what's your kind of approach look like?
Sort of neither, just sort of like casually
Okay.
going back to the boat.
Let me make a quick check. Okay, so
Yeah, I
and
think it'd be
here's-
like one of those, like where we're just walking back and then we see strangers aboard
Okay.
our vessel and kind of slow down a little bit with quizzical looks on faces, maybe, you know?
Okay. Then so I just rolled a check real quick, and the check that I rolled, the person that rolled it did very badly. So what that means is they don't quite notice you right away. No one aboard this ship, which allows you guys to get close enough as you approach to overhear some conversation on the deck of the ship before you are noticed. And what you hear is one of the figures on the deck speaking to somebody, and that person says, "These games of playing coy tire me. The nonsense about being fishmongers that was given to the Darkmaster is clearly not true. since the rest of the people that arrived on this ship just sold a Naporian to me. I want to know where they are and what they're really doing here. I have asked for the last time. Continue to be difficult, and my companions here shall not be nearly so gentle any longer. And you hear Movor go, "No understand. Common talk." Like, so fake. Like,
was that the Aelorn Relalian?
that is
voice?
for sure Aelorn Relalian. So Movor goes, "No understand," and you hear like, ugh.
How close?
And he snaps his fingers, and then you hear like a wet, like, thump, and
Nope.
Movor goes like, sounds
look
like
at
somebody
Thyxes
just like
real
gut
quick.
punched him.
Yes to Michael's stick-on note. I Rowan looks back at everybody and is like, she's ready to go jump them. She's waiting for some other clue at this point because she's, this is bad.
Can we see how many people there are aboard?
You saw that there are 6 total. 5 of them wearing, or rather, 5 of them wearing, like, dark black clothing, 2 of whom are hooded, or, like, fully hooded and covered, one of whom who is not as, like, in, like, slightly different clothing. You think the cloak was, like, red. You think that's probably Relolian as you've gotten closer. So it's, like, Relolian, and he's got 5, like, goons with him, it looks like. So I will say, because you guys were, like, approaching, they rolled really badly on their perception check to, like, see you, but, like, you guys weren't stealthing up, so, like, you hear this piece of conversation, and that's all that you get before one of the, like, the dark cloaked figures on the deck of the ship, like, points down at you guys walking up, and he says, "Sir, there they are." And 5 hooded figures, like, turn towards you. And before we roll initiative, let me just give you guys, like, the opportunity, like, for sure weapons are about to come out, but I'll give you guys the chance, like, to do something if you guys want to do something first.
Captain, go with your plan.
Not to roll initiative. My plan is not going to work.
You don't have to. If you guys, like, if you guys are just gonna draw on them, like, let's go.
Rowan will step forward because she dealt with him earlier and having recognized his voice, and she just glares at him. Says, "Excuse me, sir. What do you think you are doing on my ship?"
Because none of that now, and they draw.
Okay,
weapons.
sword. The second he says none, Rowan's sword is out. She's done.
Could I have just like cast Goodberry and just given like 5 of them to Thyxes?
Yeah, sure.
And I'll give 5 to Thyxes. I'll give 3 to Captain. No, I'll give 2 to Captain. 5, 6, 7. I'll give 2. Okay, then I'll just hold on to the rest. I've got
the rest.
Again?
I've got there. You eat them and they give you 1 hit point. It's not much, but it's like what I've got for you guys.
So you gave how many to Murderbeard?
You get
I don't
you
need
get
any.
2.
Cool.
I'm okay.
Oh, I'm hurt. When did we have a fight?
You should be fine. We just sailed
You should
here.
be. Yeah, you should all be.
Yeah,
full
you
health.
shouldn't be hurt.
I must never have long rested from whatever.
Okay.
I'm the only one that's hurt because I just had a fight.
No problem.
I'm making a note in the notes of who got how many good berries because I will forget.
All right, let's. What's some initiative rolls?
Thyxes shouts at Rowan, "Isn't this some sort of breach of contract?"
Alrighty. Initiatives. What you guys got?
18.
Okay.
14.
16.
4.
Okay.
Eels.
Eels.
Thanks to Scylla, Murderbeard, Rowan. Okay, I'm gonna have these two guys. Okay. The first to react is gonna be these hooded guys on the deck. There are 5 of them. And they are each going to take... they all, like, pull crossbows. And they're gonna fire crossbows at you guys.
Matt, I do have a quick question.
Go ahead.
I did not say it, but normally whenever Thyxes is in a confrontational situation, he casts mage armor on himself before
That's fine.
that
Yeah.
happens.
Let me put Tea Kettle in the initiative as well. Okay. So there's 5 of them. There's 5 of you down here. So they're gonna each fire a crossbow, each at one of you. They're very coordinated, these 5 guys. They, like, without really communicating verbally, they each, like, pick out one of you, and all 5 of you get a crossbow bolt shot at you.
Cool.
So Murderbeard.
They should
Or
form
actually,
a
no,
dance
sorry.
troupe.
Thyxes. I'm gonna go right in the order that you guys are in the thing here. Thyxes. That is a 19 plus 3 to hit you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Murderbeard.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Before they shoot Thyxes, I'm going to use my protection with my shield, and I'm
Disadvantage.
going to
Okay.
disadvantage them. This is
The
why I tell you to stay close to me.
Second roll was a 4. So
Ooh.
the crossbow bolt
Yay!
comes
you.
in. Rowan, like, throws the shield out and it just, like, pings off. Murderbeard, that was
Stay
only a
close.
5 against you. Rowan, a 6 against you, so those both miss. Scylla, a 2. Oh boy, these guys suck.
No.
Remember,
Tea
take
Kettle.
Full advantage of wearing a helmet.
Yo,
for once,
if-
and just like
Tea Kettle
Yo.
is gonna hit by a crossbow. They rolled
Oh
a
my
19.
god, I'm literally turning into the Tarrasque. I'm ending it all, you guys.
Game
Tea
over.
Kettle. Tea Kettle is gonna take 5 points of piercing damage.
Baby.
Tea Kettle, like, is hit in the shoulder, like the joint over her, like, wing arm is, like, kind of here. The crossbow bolt sticks in. She goes like, "Ah!" And then in a voice that you guys probably recognize as Edward Poole, she goes, "God damns!" And she she is wounded. That is their turn, which is going to bring us to Scylla. So you
Right.
have these 5 guys, like, lined up on the deck of the ship.
So, my original plan has now changed because they've hurt Tea Kettle.
Oh no!
I'm about to, like, hurt some mofos. Are these people, is it possible to get, like, the majority of them into a 30-foot long, 10-foot wide, like, space? Like, are they, like, in
they're
a row?
probably already, except for Relalian, they probably all are. Because they're lined up against the, like... They all basically came to, like, the railing of the ship and fired down at you. So they're all in a line at the railing of the ship.
Okay, so I'm gonna cast Tidal Wave.
Hey!
So I see that they hit Tea Kettle, and I'm just like... I probably, like, say, like, fuck you in, like... in giant, honestly, because I'm mad. So I, like, take a little, like, bone shard and I prick my finger with it and I drop it into the water on the side of the deck, and then I, like, raise my hands up, and it's 30 feet long, 10 feet wide, and 10 feet tall, but I can put it wherever, so, like, for flavor-wise, it's coming out of the water there,
Yep.
but mechanically it's going on the deck where they are. All of them have to make a deck saving throw.
Not one of
DC
them.
15.
Not one of them rolled higher than 10 on their deck save. All 5 of them are gonna fail.
Okay, so I have to roll 48. 3. So they're all gonna be knocked prone if they failed then.
Yep.
And it also, I don't know if this matters, but the water then spreads out across the ground in all directions, so basically all over the ship, extinguishing unprotected flames in its area and within 30 feet of it, and then it vanishes.
Okay.
$14, $15, $16, $17, $18, $19, $20 points
20.
of bludgeoning damage. And they're all
Okay.
prone.
All 5 of these dudes. So this tidal wave of water comes up and just rushes forward. The entire ship goes like, lists and then like settles back. And so all this water like rips across the deck. The ship rocking back into position like splashes a bunch of water up onto the dock and like over your guys' boots. And you see like everybody who was lined up against that railing with those crossbows, like all 5 dudes are just gone. Like you don't see anybody standing on the deck of the ship now because everybody got knocked over. You do hear a bunch of like wet sort of like floundering around, so like there's still people moving up there. But all of the deck lamps on the sequel are out, so it's like dark up there now.
Okay, and then I will move 30 feet just like towards, like I want to get on the boat.
30 feet will put you like, you can basically, with 30 feet, you can go like up the gangplank to like basically like right at the edge of the, like being on the ship.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get right up there, and with my bonus action, I'm going to hidden step and turn myself invisible.
All right. So you guys see Scylla just like, Sorcerer Mickey just like pulls this huge tidal wave of water, throws it at the ship, and like sprints up in its wake, and then like gets to the top of the gangplank and disappears. And you do see like a little bit of like the spray from the back end of this tidal wave sort of like comes back, and you kind of see it sort of splash over like a vaguely Scylla-shaped space in the air. And then like she's gone. Okay. Murderbeard, that is going to bring us to you. So it is now dark. So I think the only one that this is affecting right now is Rowan. So Rowan, you really can't see anything on the ship anymore because all the lights just got put out by that tidal wave. But I think the rest of you have dark vision. So Murderbeard, you're up now. Scylla has disappeared. You cannot see anybody because you're down on the dock and you're looking up at the ship, and everybody has been like knocked flat away from the railing. So you don't see anybody actively.
How much movement is it to get like up the gangplank onto the ship?
30 feet gets you like where Scylla is, like right at the top of the gangplank. So theoretically, you could go like right behind Scylla, and like you'd have line of sight up onto the deck of the ship because you'd be high enough.
Okay, I'll do that. Hold on a second. I'll go up there and see who I can see.
Okay. You move
a
up.
bunch of dudes like lying knocked over.
Yeah, there's a bunch of dudes just like sprawled on the ground. You see the guy who you're pretty sure is Aelorn Relolian. His hood is like knocked back, and you definitely see him now. He's like on the main like mast. He's kind of using it to like pull himself back to his feet. You see that Movor and Melted Snow are like, they look like maybe they were sitting up against the main mast. They've kind of been like buffeted backwards a little bit by this spray of water and the rocking of the ship. Both of their arms are like tied behind their back, but they're like kind of like rolling to sort of try and right themselves. And you can actually see like Movor is already like working to get his feet under him to try and stand up. And then like besides that, there's just like 5 guys like on the ground.
So with another 30 feet, can I get to where Movor and what's his face are?
Yes, easily. It's only about another 10 feet from you.
Okay, so I'm gonna bonus action dash.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna use my action, like in one move, essentially. I'm gonna cut Movor's hands free and then put my blade at his throat and be like, "We gonna talk about this, or are we gonna have to kill everybody and then we talk about it?"
You're putting your blade to Movor's throat?
No. I cut Movor free, and then put my blade to what's his face.
Oh, to Aelorn. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you like, shing, cut Movor's hands free and like whip your blade around and put it to Aelorn Relolian's neck. That is going to bring us to Tea Kettle, who is going to she's going to run kind of sideways and get behind like some crates. And you see her like reach into her belt and pull out like a throwing knife. And she's gonna hold her action. So she's like down, hiding kind of behind cover, looking up at the deck of the ship. And she's just gonna hold her action. Like if one of those dudes pops back up, she's gonna wing a knife at him. So that's what Tea Kettle's gonna do. Rowan, that brings us to you.
Given that Murderbeard's at the top of the gangplank, even though I can't see her,
No,
and
I'm
it's
not.
dark. Oh, you moved. You got
Murderbeard's
away.
like on the deck of the ship now. Scylla,
So-
you gauge, is somewhere up there.
Somewhere up there. I will then. Is there? This is dumb, but I'm asking anyway. The piles, like the boxes and things Murderbeard climbed earlier, were they like really close to the ship, or are they farther back?
They were a little further back. They were probably another
Okay.
like 50 feet back from where you guys are now, because he
Okay.
was like spyglass looking, and then you moved
Okay.
up from there.
All right.
But there's
so then
like
I'm
some crates and stuff here, because that's where Tea Kettle hid. Like there's some more
Right.
up here. I mean, it's
but
a
nothing
dock,
like
so there's
high up. Nothing high up. Nothing that.
like are you trying to like climb something to like jump onto the deck of the ship?
No, I'm trying to get a view because they're all on the ground.
Yeah,
except for...
I'll say you can climb some like the crates the tea kettle's hiding behind. You can like climb up on top of those and get kind of like level with like where the
so that
railing is.
I can see them.
You'll be
over
able to
going
see
down.
over the deck of the ship. Yeah.
All right. Pure anger at this point. I'm casting Moonbeam on all 5 of them.
You probably can't get all 5 of them because they're in a line like this.
Yeah. Okay. So then, however
What's
many
Moonbeam
I
is
can
what?
get with. However many I can get without hurting my people.
It's
10-foot radius, right?
10-foot radius.
10-foot radius.
I'll say you can get 2 with Moonbeam. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to cast Moonbeam, and
Okay.
also kind of hoping that might give me a little bit of light, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then-
A little illuminate
It's
things a
radiant
little bit.
light, so yes, it does.
So
Okay.
you kind of gauge like where they you saw them get knocked down, and you just like raise your hand up to the what was the dispassionate moon that didn't answer your prayer before. But now you like pull your hand down, and like beam of light begins to like coalesce on the deck of the ship, so you can kind of see the scene before you.
Okay.
And we'll resolve that on their turn because that's when they'll take damage. Those 2 guys. Okay. Melted Snow and Movor are gonna go now. Melted Snow is still tied up. Melted Snow just kind of like rolls, does like a couple of barrel rolls and gets like away from anybody that's like hostile to him right now. And he's gonna use his action to try and get out of his bonds. And with a 19, he succeeds. So Murderbeard, you can kind of see this. Melted Snow sort of like does like a triple barrel roll away from you guys, and his back is to you as he like comes to a stop, and you see his like hands bound behind his back. His one hand goes like, ching, and his like claws come out of his fingers, and with his like feline claws, he just cuts his own like the ropes holding him and stands up. He's unarmed, so he's not going to do anything right now. Movor is going to run over. And he's going to run up to one of the guys not in the moonbeam on the ground. And he's going to make an unarmed attack against them. But that is only an 8 plus his strength. No, that's not going to do it. So he comes running up and he goes like... "Ugh!" And he goes to just like punches straight down onto the deck. Onto one of these like hooded like kind of you see now that he has like some sort of a mask over his face. He punches down. You hear this guy go like, "Whoa!" And he like rolls, and Movor just like punches into the wood, and like you hear like a crack as he like kind of like makes a fist imprint in the deck of the ship. That's gonna be their turn, which will bring us now to Thyxes.
Seeing what Captain's doing, you let me know if this is possible. I'm going to stay behind Rowan's shield,
Okay.
because that seems like a very safe place for Thyxes right now. So if Rowan moved, I would go wherever she goes. And I'd like to kind of point my hand kind of over towards. You said the guy was leaning against the mast of the ship.
Yeah, so from where you are on the like the dock, you can just see like kind of the top of his head with like Murderbeard's sword at his like neck. He and like now Movor are really the only ones that you can see because the rest of those dudes are like laying flat still from getting the tidal wave and haven't stood back up, and you're like below them, so you can't see anybody else except now you kind of see Relolian and you see sort of Murderbeard like menacing him.
Okay, I would like to see. Let me know if this is overstepping the bounds of the cantrip, but I'd like to cast Prestidigitation on the mast to make it appear as if it has a face, and then
Okay.
turn and slowly look and kind of meet this guy's face as he's looking at it and go, "Well, I suggest you do what he says."
Okay. Yeah. Roll a Roll an intimidation roll.
Okay. Intimidation. Got it. I would like to use my inspiration that you gave me.
Okay.
Two sessions
Give yourself
ago.
advantage? Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'll take advantage on it. All right. Well, that's a good thing, because that was a natural 1. Not much better. That's an 11.
11. Okay, I'm gonna make an opposing roll for him. He kind of like looks at this. I had him roll a wisdom check against this. He's like startled for a second. But he kind of like he's familiar enough with magic that he like kind of realizes this for what it is. And he's like he's not like flabbergasted by this.
Oh, phooey.
Should I have made a roll earlier? When I was trying to...
No, we're just gonna resolve, like, we'll resolve the, the sword to the neck, as it, like, would naturally be received. And we're gonna do that right now, because it's his turn. He is going to, Murderbeard, he is gonna pull out a, dagger from his, in his, robes, and he is basically tries to, bat your sword away and then, stab you. So he's gonna make an attack against you, rolling in his. I believe he's gonna miss, because that's only a 10. So he, bats this sword away and, lunges for you with this dagger, but you sort of, dance out of the way. He kind of misses. He snarls and he says, "I know that you're not who you claim to be. I want answers." And that's his turn. That's all he has the time to do. So it's going to be the his goons now. So the 5 of them are going to stand up. The 2 who are in the moonbeam roll. One of them for sure fails. One of them succeeds. Is it half damage on a success? Or no damage? Half damage? Okay, so go ahead and roll that moonbeam damage. One will take full, the other's going to take half.
If they're shapeshifters, they get popped back to their natural form. I say that every time I cast
Scylla's favorite thing.
That's the making sure I actually rolled the correct dice, because I looked at it and then I looked away. 2d10. Yeah, that's 18 damage.
18 damage! Whoo! The first dude, pushes himself to his feet, and just gets, pounded back into the deck by this moonbeam, and, is totally scorched and, it doesn't move again. The guy who fails, so he's gonna take 9, right?
Mm-hmm. 9.
The guy who fails is, badly burned, but he, throws...
The guy who fails gets 18, and you were saying it backwards.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The guy who succeeds takes 9. He's badly, singed, but he, throws himself out of the way. So the guy who survives this dives out of the area of the moonbeam, but, part of his, hood and robe are, singed and burn away. The radiant, concentrated moonlight of this spell seems to have, interacted with his, hood and cloak in a strange way. And you see his right arm is exposed, to the shoulder. And you're not sure at first, you think, it's maybe his, he got, singed, but from shoulder to hand, the flesh of his right arm is, midnight black. So that is going to be, the 2 guys who take damage. One is definitely dead, and the other 4, 2 of them are going to take shots at Rowan, because that moonbeam is up. And that's a 19 plus stuff and a 5. The 5 is definitely going to miss.
Yep.
So you're going to take some damage from... you take 2 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw of 10 to hold concentration on your moonbeam for me.
I have 14 concentration, so I'm fine.
Okay. Cool. And the other two, they're gonna move up, and they're gonna use short swords, and they're gonna try and attack Murderbeard. And that is 17 and 17 and a 15 against Murderbeard. What's your AC, Murderbeard?
The 17 hit.
Okay, so one will hit you. So Murderbeard, you are gonna take 5 points of piercing damage. Okay, so that is the 4 remaining those guys. Scylla, that brings us to you.
As much as I like really want to go after this like bitch boy, I feel like I should just take out these little crossbowmen. So I go at the start of my turn, I am visible again. And
Okay.
I'm just gonna like go over to one of the dudes are they still on the ground or they all stood up?
They all
They all
stood
stood
up.
up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just go over to one and I'm gonna primal savagery him.
Okay, roll to hit. Which
Okay.
one are you hitting? One of the like the non-moonbeamed one, or one of the or like one guy who did get moonbeamed?
I'm not gonna go in the moonbeam.
Okay,
Because that would
so one of the
hurt.
guys.
I'm going for another one.
Okay, go ahead and roll to hit.
Natural 20.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's 4d10. Well, it's 2d10 doubled. We roll just double the dice, right? I don't remember how to play D&D. Okay, I'm rolling. Yeah, so like I just give him like a very evil grin and my teeth get really long and I'm just gonna go for like Old Faithful of just biting this man in the neck.
Alright.
15. That's also 20 points of damage.
Oh, you.
And that's the doubled, so don't double that. And it's acid damage.
You rip that man's like entire throat out, and like just like throw his corpse to the ground. He's so dead.
Yeah, and then I turn at his friends and with like his like neck viscera in my mouth, I just snarl at them. And I don't really have much else. I'm trying to save my wild shapes, so that's my turn.
Okay.
Rowan, she wasn't joking about eating people.
I'm okay with that right now.
Murderbeard, you are up. Oh shoot! Hang on a second. I gotta make a real quick roll because Tea Kettle's held action goes off. Yeah, Tea Kettle 100% hits one of these dudes with a thrown dagger.
My queen.
baby,
She
go.
does 4 points of damage. You know what I'm gonna say? Just to kind of move this along a little bit. Tea Kettle throws her knife at the dude who gets like partially moonbeamed. So this guy gets like moonbeamed, sizzles, like dives out of the moonbeam and kind of like staggers himself upright, only to get hit like directly in the eyeball with a throwing knife, and he drops dead to the ground. This knife just like protruding from his head, and you guys hear like a moment. You hear the of the knife spinning and like hitting this guy in the head, and like a half second later, you hear the noise again. You hear like, and it's just like Tea Kettle just made the noise a second time, and she's like, with her one bird finger. Okay, so that's 3 down. There's 2 of these guys left, and Aelorn is still standing. Murderbeard, it is your turn.
Okay. I'm gonna take a swing at Aelorn. Does a 21 hit?
Oh yeah.
$17 points of damage.
You fully just like stab Aelor Rololian in the chest, and he drops to the ground fully dead immediately. Like, you just like stick him, and he just goes like slides backwards and falls dead to the ground. Anything else?
Well, I guess we won't be getting any answers out of him. No, that's it.
Okay. Tea Kettle is gonna throw another knife. She's gonna miss this time. Rowan, that brings us to you. So you can see there's two of these guys on the deck. One of them is like the hooded one. The other is his hood is down now, and you see he's just like an elf. He has like dark, looks like kind of like inky black hair. And the other three of these like goons are dead, and you watch like Rololian like just slide bonelessly off the end of Murderbeard's rapier and like drop to the deck.
Seeing him dead, Rowan curses under her breath a little because she wanted to interrogate him so hard. The other two that are still alive, are they right near Murderbeard, or like can I?
They're close enough because they're all on the everybody's on the deck.
Right there. Can I position Moonbeam without hurting anybody that I care about?
You can probably get one of the either or. You can pick one and get them with the Moonbeam. But probably that's it. Like, you're not gonna be able to get both of them without also hitting some of your people. So you can probably scotch it a little bit and hit one of these guys if you wanted to.
Have either of them been hurt yet, other than her?
They got the title. No, only the tidal wave has hit those two guys. Yeah.
So then, whichever one's closer to the Moonbeam that I can move it to without hitting anybody else, I'll just shift it to them.
So Moonbeam goes across the deck. Alrighty. Movor and Melted Snow are gonna go. Movor will run to the one not in the Moonbeam and make an unarmed attack, and he crits. So he is going to deal 6 points of bludgeoning damage. He punches that hooded one, and you just hear what is distinctively the sound of a dude's jaw breaking as Movor just socks this guy in the face. He's still upright and he doesn't fall down, but he's not looking to be in great shape. He's very wet. He's staggered now. Melted Snow. Melted Snow might as well get on this. He'll follow up Movor's attack on this guy, and he'll make an unarmed strike as well with his claws. He rolls a nat 1, so he totally misses. Poor Melted Snow. Okay, that's their turn. Thyxes, that's going to bring us to you. There are these two guys left. One's in a Moonbeam, one's in that sort of finish him pose from Mortal Kombat after Movor has just punched him so hard.
Finish him pose is getting a firebolt.
Okay, roll to hit.
24.
Oh, yes.
Only 5 points of fire damage.
That's all it takes. He is hit right in the chest with this and flops backwards to the deck. Okay, anything else, Thyxes?
That will be it.
Okay, Rololian is dead. The last remaining guy will make a dex save. It's a 13.
It's a con save.
Oh, a con save.
For Moonbeam.
Doesn't make a difference. It's a 14 either way. Is that save? Okay, so he'll take half damage. Go ahead and roll that damage as he tries to dive out of the Moonbeam.
17 points of damage.
Okay, so he'll take half damage from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think. What? Oh, I messed his health. How much damage did you do with the tidal wave? 20, right?
20 points you did, yeah.
20.
Okay. Alright, so he takes 8 more damage there. Okay. I had screwed up his health pool earlier. Okay, he dives out of the way. He gets, badly burned again by this Moonbeam. or I guess for the first time. He wasn't at the first time. But he like stands up and just like throws his weapon down on the ground and like holds up his hands and he says, "I'm not getting paid nearly enough for this. And he's dead anyway."
I shout, "Keep him alive!" Just because he might be able to tell us anything.
Yeah, so he's trying to surrender. Scylla, you would be next.
We're like borderline in just like a blood frenzy right now, but I'm just gonna go over and just grab this man.
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna
you,
just try to like grab his arms and like put them behind his back.
easy enough. He's not
Just
resisting
holding
you.
him.
He's surrendered. Okay. Is anybody else like? Is anybody just like taking a pot shot and killing this guy? Or are you guys standing down?
Thyxes thought about it.
Okay. Then we will stop. This guy surrenders. And he's your prisoner now. And go ahead.
I jump off the crate and I go to Tea Kettle and I dump some lay on hands into her to get her back up.
Okay.
Because they hurt our baby and that's not okay.
You put your hand on Tea Kettle. You like pump healing in. The arrow, kind of the bolt, like sort of like works its way out and clatters to the ground. And that
Yeah, I
wound,
gave her the 5 points back. So.
heals up. And Tea Kettle goes, "Oh boy, thanks."
I smile at her and then I walk on to the ship and go over to Valalian. And I grab his cloak and then I take that pin that I saw earlier.
Okay, the
Cardinal
feather.
pin.
Yes. Okay, you take that.
I just look down at him and like think to myself like, it's a good thing you got killed because this is not going to be pleasant for you. And pocket the pin and hold onto the cloak.
That one remaining guy is like his hands are like held behind his back by Scylla, and he says, "I don't know who any of you people are, but none of this was anything personal. Simply hired to do a job. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're doing here. I don't care." He like nods his head towards like Rolalian's corpse and he says, "He had some sort of an issue with you. Clearly that's been resolved with quite a bit of finality."
You're pretending you know nothing about what his issue was or what he was doing?
Because I only know what he told me. We were simply paid to come here and act as muscle.
But you know what he did for a living, didn't you?
Since he was a merchant of some sort.
Insight check.
Yeah, does that
Insight
seem...
check his ass.
Yeah, go ahead. Make an insight check.
I'm sussing hard. 17. Hey.
17? You get the sense that, like, this guy is being willfully ignorant about, like, it's not that he, like, doesn't know what Rolalian did. It's that he, like, doesn't know because he's, like, intentionally making sure he doesn't know. You definitely get, like, a mercenary type of vibe off of this guy, and you think, like, you sort of get the sense that he's, like, this was a very much, like, don't ask anything you don't need to know type of arrangement. So, I mean, I think he probably, like, you get the sense, like, he definitely knows Rolalian was, like, a shitbag. Like, he interacted with the guy. You don't think he had, like, some sort of, like, long-standing relationship.
He's hurt, but not, like, about to go down, right?
He's pretty bad.
Like, will 3 points take him down, or will he be okay? Dang it, Matt! I look at everyone else. Let's just tie him up and gag him and leave him here with the others. We have to go take care of other business.
Yeah, we gotta hurry.
Melted Snow says, "Movor and Tea Kettle and I can take care of this. We will make sure they are not found and evidence of the battle here is not discovered. We will keep him below and secured. Do what you need to do." and the thug, as like Movor comes over to go take him from like Scylla and start to like haul him by his like collar below. He goes, wait. He says, a show of goodwill. He gestures, points again to Relolian. He says, that one had an arrangement with some sort of an assistant of his or something. When he doesn't report back in, orders were given to contact the authorities. Whoever his assistant is has your descriptions.
Great.
How much time?
He says, when he doesn't report back by tomorrow.
Oh, we got.
Wait, did you just say we're good?
I said, oh, we
We
got
got
time.
time.
Yeah, we're fine.
And with
I
that,
got it.
Morvor just like shoves him and like takes him down below.
Just like
That's what I
pirates
said.
don't care about
Yeah.
goodwill.
Yeah.
You-
Well, we do, just not. It's not time pressing like we have like an hour, so we'll deal with that tomorrow.
And where was he supposed to report?
And he says, that I don't know.
Really?
He sort of shrugs and says, part of the job, but the less we know, the less we can. He kind of smiles a little ruefully. Tell the enemy if we're captured.
Touché.
Melted snow, can you do me a favor?
Of course, Lady Rowan. What do you wish?
Take everything from his pockets, everything he has on. Don't make him naked, but get everything away from him in case he tries some kind of funny business. Don't just tie him up and keep somebody's eyes on him at all times.
Of course. We will ensure that he is not a threat.
Thank you.
Take him below. Okay. So they bring him below. What are you guys doing? What's your plan?
Can we like toss the boss guy's body, Relolian? Can we just like check other? Because I know Rowan like pulled specific things off, but like, does he have like a key, a talisman, like a little note that's like, this is the secret password to get everywhere and not get arrested?
No, he doesn't have a secret password. He does, in fact. You can certainly toss him. He has a coin purse on his person, containing 25 Ignean gold regals.
Throw that to the captain.
And he does, in fact, have a key on a little, like, chain.
Does it look like a key that would fit into the cages that we saw?
No, it looks like a key to, like, a lockbox.
I'm taking it anyway.
Okay.
So, Russ, you have the 25 Ignean regals.
All right. What are you guys doing now?
I fear we have lost precious time to set up a plan. Back to the market, or should I contact her?
Let's get back to the market and see what we can find out. Maybe if the orcs are still out there or something.
I almost feel like we need to contact her first.
Well,
Now that we got sidetracked.
well, we will
You guys-
likely need to start retracing our steps from the market. So why don't I message her on the way?
You guys are heading back towards the market. Scylla, you're messaging Nymue. Okay.
Yes.
What is the contents of your message spell?
Oh man, okay. It's every time in every game that I have, when I have to do sending stuff, I'm always just
Same.
like, I don't know what to say.
No.
Okay. Nymue knew that guy's name was Relolian, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Got sidetracked. Relolian investigated our ship. Super dead now. Heading back to the market. Are you still there? We're going to track you now. Okay.
You send that message, and you do not get a response.
Oh no, they anti-magicked her. Oh no.
You
Like
guys,
it didn't go through?
I don't know that you get the sense of that. Like, as far as you know, the spell was sent, Nymue just does not respond. And you guys
She didn't
head
respond.
you head back to the market, and you go to presumably like where the cages are. And the cage that Nymue was in is empty. She's gone.
Is there anyone
And
around?
the orc
Okra?
that she fought is like standing at the bars. Another one of the orcs like comes up behind, like to the side of him and says, "Your friend already taken." Man in white clothing.
Which way?
You say this, that orc like he like turns and like in orcish, he's like, "Norahal Wakola." And the other one, the one that she fought, points like kind of east out of the little area that you're in right now, but that's sort of just like the way that a cart would roll out of here. So it doesn't really tell you anything. And he says, "Kala Sarangraz." And the other orc turns back to you and he says, "We heard they say word Sarangraz. We not know what Sarangraz sound place for taking."
Can I just total guess, just history check or something, because Rowan went to school for so long? And...
Sure, yeah, make a history check.
Oh, that's pretty good. 24.
You think Sarangraz is like a hospital or something around here? You're not really sure more than that. Like, you're gonna need to ask somebody, and you certainly like don't know where it is.
I turned to everybody like, I think it's a hospital or something. I don't know. It sounds kind of familiar. It sounds something.
So
It's not like a town or something.
as you guys have you've gained this information, Nymue is gone now, and you have learned she has been taken to some place called Sarangraz. And as you guys have learned that, let's transition. Let's go back to Nymue. I'm gonna change a couple of things around here.
Oh no.
So I'm gonna do this.
Hello?
And I'm gonna do this.
Happening.
Oh,
And
the street.
I'm gonna
Oh,
do
Oh, look at that.
Ooh, look at her.
That is
Nymue is
cool.
the center of our universe, and this is very true.
Wait, what's happening?
You're like
That
centered
is
on
cool.
something.
I'll send a pic to you.
I just see it on stream. What's happening? Oh no. Hello?
Nimue. Those people at Sarangraz forced some sort of a medication, like, down your throat. And you had just enough time to register that you were becoming disoriented. And then you passed out. And you wake up now. and you still can't see anything. Your eyes are completely covered by that piece of cloth. And you realize you can't move your arms or legs. Heavy, like iron bands are surrounding you, locking you down. And you are only aware that the space that you are in is cold, and the air is damp, and it smells foul. Like rotten and almost like fermented. And you become aware of a presence near you. Kind of like how you can sometimes tell, like you get a kind of a tingle at the back of your neck when someone is like watching you. You can feel somebody nearby you. And you hear, a moment later, you hear like a pair of footsteps. Somebody's walking around the table or something that you are like tied down to. And you hear, you're finally awake. Perhaps they overdid the medication. I should like to have begun sooner than this.
Maybe you should fire that guy. I did tell him I don't do well with drugs.
That is no longer relevant. I will ask questions, and you will answer them. The more you cooperate, the more expeditious this process will be. You hear the sound of sounds like a quill and like a tome of some sort is like picked up. And this voice says, "What is your name?"
Does she want to do this? I think she's gonna fight it this time. She's not gonna say anything.
Unfortunate. You appear to be as headstrong as the others. This part is always such a waste of time. And you are shocked at that collar around your neck.
Yeah.
You take 7 points of lightning damage.
Wait, was that considered a long rest if I slept?
No, probably not.
Yeah.
No, I think the effect of these like drugs is that like this is not like a restful sleep.
That's fair.
The voice like is now he's now like on the other side of you. Like you can't see him, and he's just like moving around you in the dark. So his like as he speaks, his voice is like coming from different places, but like it's entirely too close to your ear. As he says, "You should understand, Naporian. I am going to get the information that I need, one way or the other. This can be done without an excess of discomfort for you, or It can waste a tremendous amount of time and be incredibly unpleasant.
I don't suppose you want to give your name first? You know, just so I know who I'm having a conversation with.
That is of little consequence to you in the end.
No, but it would make me feel better.
The voice goes quiet for a minute, and he says, perhaps a new tactic. Question for question.
Ooh, I like that game. Yeah. Sign me up.
He says, there are certain things I will not tell you. But if it loosens your lips, for every question of mine that you answer to allow me to proceed with my work, you may ask one of your own. He says, very well then. A name for a name.
She's gonna lie because she's a little brat.
Okay.
Her name, she's going to say, my name is Ren.
Rin, you said?
Yeah, R-I-N.
Okay. Rin, make a deception check.
I'm gonna use my inspiration. It wasn't
Okay.
bad, but... Oh yeah, okay, that's so much better. That's a 21.
A 21. Okay.
Yeah.
There's quiet for a moment. And then you hear, like, the scribble of something written down on a piece of parchment. Rin. My name, then, is Lawson. He says, your surname, Rin.
She's gonna tell the truth. Gozen?
Okay. There's a kind of a pause.
Mm-hmm.
He says, interesting. Rin Gozen.
Mm-hmm.
I am lost in the scene. At what age did you undergo the rituals that bound your soul to the
Good
other
fucking question,
essence?
buddy. Hang on. Ooh. She was pretty young. She was one of her, like, the younger ones that went through it, so I'd say she was about 12 or 13.
Okay.
I think I was just turning 13, like, in the same month.
Yeah, here, scribble. He writes down. Very good.
Can I know a name of another Naporian you've captured? There's 4, isn't there?
He says, interesting. You come with a certain amount of information already. No, I think that is an unproductive bit of information for you to know.
How so?
You get zapped again. You take another 7 points of lightning damage. And like, you feel the light.
You didn't even give me one answer.
you-
I asked you like 3 questions.
Oh, he
buddy.
gave you Lorson Thesine is his name.
Yeah, but not for the second question.
He like when he responds again, you like feel his breath in like your ear.
Gross.
And he says, I have been kind enough to grant you this. Further
I thought we were playing a game.
impudence will be treated harshly. Do not test me, or I shall grow bored of this. You like feel the collar at your neck sort of like flicked. Minor implement. And I will move on to other means of persuasion.
No, this works. I'm just like wondering what the rules of this game are because I'm really confused right now.
He says, I told you, there are things I will not tell you. You will accept that. Argument will be met with consequence. Failure to answer a question will be met with consequence.
All right, Sparky.
He says, how soon after the binding did you begin to exhibit the enhanced abilities that what your people call Kalashtar display?
Mm. I think it was before I turned 15.
You hear it's just scribble, he writes something down. He waits for you to answer, to ask your next question.
So are you Pendragon or someone else?
You can kind of hear like a slight smile in his voice as he says, No. I have the pleasure of merely being a humble servant.
No.
He says, the work that I do here, I am not possessing of either the tools nor the power to complete Pendragon's necessities, but I have enough to achieve certain preliminary examinations.
It's your turn.
When you access the power innate to the Kalashtar, what does it feel like?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. I don't even know how to explain that. I don't think anyone can explain it unless you experience it. Maybe the closest thing would be like a pull. You know, like when you're like really antsy and you can't stop, like you can't sit still.
You hear
You
like
have to,
scribble,
bounce your leg.
Like
That's the closest I can get.
Very well.
I had a question and now I forget. Out of character, any suggestions?
Like why, you know? Just like why?
Just why?
Just why?
All right, since you asked me a loaded question, I'm going to ask you one. Why? Like why all this? Why us?
There's a bit of silence, and
Ooh.
the voice of the scene kind of sounds like he's maybe like walking in a circle around you as he speaks next.
Hmm.
And he says, a complicated question indeed. My tutor, my teacher, my master requires a certain level of indomitable resilience from his subjects for his great project. Many, many years and many failed conduits have proven insufficient. It seems, however, that your people's innate connection to the spirit realm makes them more properly suited to the work that must be done. He says, make no mistake, Gozen Rin. Just because you are Kalashtar does not mean that you possess the constitution required for what is to come. If you are resilient, if you are hale, perhaps you will fare better than some of the others against my tests. And if you are, you will have the highest honor of leaving this place and going to meet my master.
I have another question I want to ask, but you have to ask me one first. That's how this works.
He says, what percentage, roughly, you may guess, of Naporian youth are suitable candidates for the trials to become like you?
Oh, Matt, any suggestions? Because Kristy don't fucking know how big this place is.
You can kind of just spitball it. What do you think? Like,
Well, we did decide it's like more of a rare occurrence, and it's not something that happens like all the time. Like sometimes there will be bindings and they all come back with nothing, and then sometimes they'll go and all of them come back like bound. It's very up and down. So I think she'd give an average of like 8%.
Okay.
But that goes up and down depending on the decade.
you hear like scribble, scribble, scribble. That's written down. The scene says, answered appropriately. Ask then.
So your master's Pendragon, like, how super cool is he? Does he have superpowers too? Is he cool?
He is.
It's Pendragon Party.
Does he like to get hang out, have a good time?
He
Is he cool? But how is he strong?
He is accomplished and brilliant, and he is better positioned than I, with the resources required to conduct the final legs of this work. I have the honor of being only the gatekeeper. I am brought your people. I test them. I push them to their limits. And should they prove sufficiently resilient, I send them to him that he may seek the ones he truly looks for. Those that do not withstand my trials. Their fate is less glorious.
Can I make an insight? There's two different insights I want to do. The first one is like, am I getting some like cult? Like he seems absolutely devoted to this man. Is this some cult vibes?
Yeah, you can make an insight check.
16.
You definitely get the sense that this is this scene is like holds a great deal of esteem for this Pendragon.
My next question is not one Nymue wants to think about, but she has to now consider, considering he's said it twice or 3 times now. When he says that the others weren't up to his standards, does she feel like he's killed my people?
So as you're kind of like thinking about that, I'll say that question is kind of answered for you, because the scene seems to be done asking you questions now, as he says, "Let us proceed to the first round of examinations. Truly, I hope that you are strong of spirit and resilient of body. My sample size has been pitifully small to draw accurate statistical results. But let us say this. You have the opportunity to be the tiebreaker. I hope that you are strong enough. 50% is a subpar success rate. And with that, you feel something sharp is like pressed into the vein in the crook of your arm.
Oh no.
And we will see what happens there when we come back from break.
Before we go, does Nymue feel the ring on her finger still?
Make an insight check. No, that's not insight. Make a, I can just call it a perception check.
That's okay. Okay, that's... have my sheet up. Okay, that's a 17.
You kind of like, your hands are like kind of bound down to this, so you're just able to kind of like move one of your fingers and try to like feel where the ring was.
Mm-hmm.
Where the ring was. It's gone.
Fuck. Okay.
Fuck.
So, nobody go anywhere. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes. Oh, those are so off. Welcome back, everybody. The cameras are screwed. There we go. Now they're fixed. Hey, welcome back. Okay, here we are. So, we returned from our break. The Scylla, Rowan, Murderbeard, Thyxes. You guys have returned to the area where the you know that Nymue was being held, and she is gone, and she is not responding to hails on the Ring of Sending. What are you guys doing? Movor is there. Mokral is there. He told you that he heard the people that took her discuss a place called Serengras.
Shall we ask where that is?
Is looking around, since we're kind of in the area where we were earlier, is that kid that I broke half a copper and flung at? Is he around?
No,
anywhere?
you don't see him around anywhere.
Is there anyone around?
There's just like the people that are in the in the cages. I mean, I will say, as you guys have been like moving around your the streets, like there are guard patrols, like all over the place. There's not anybody here like this second, but like they're around, and somebody's probably coming through here shortly.
Why don't we start heading in the direction they pointed until we find somebody to ask?
Okay.
Yeah. So you're gonna start heading kind of east. Okay.
Yeah. Are there like? I'm sure it's all messed up because it's a city. There's no like tracks in the ground or anything, right?
Not really.
Like
the ground here is largely like it's like a dirt ground here in the like the market and stuff, but like all of the city streets are like paved cobblestones.
Yeah.
So it's not really like you'd be able to kind of like track them. But yeah, you guys can kind of head off towards like sort of start just heading east. You head kind of out of the slave markets area, and you're forced pretty quickly to like start heading either north or south, because you come to like if you look on the map, you'll come to like that road that runs like this way. So you kind of like come to a spot where like you can't really go any further east because there's like just a few blocks of stuff, and then there's like wooded area. There's people around, like there's guard patrols going around in the streets. There's like a few people kind of like walking, a couple of wagons here and there. It's pretty quiet because it is, it's like probably 10 p.m. at this point. But like there's people around. The oil lamps are lit in the streets, dimly illuminating the street. You're in an area that is like, it's not like directly in the market, but it's like market adjacent on this main road. So there's a lot of like storefronts and things like this. Most of them are closed. There are a couple of like taverns and stuff that you see. What do you guys want to do?
Excuse me, old man. Have you heard of or know how we could get to a place called Serengras?
You grab an old man. We'll say he's human, since if he's going to be an old man, he's probably not an elf. You grab a human, and he sort of like raises his eyebrows at you, and he says, "Ooh, take word from me, young." Kind of like looks you up and down, and you're like gray skin and your horns. Says, "Maybe you do need Serengra." He says, "If you were smart, you'd go nowhere near that accursed place."
Why is that?
He says, "Not from around here, are you?"
I kind of just like gesture towards myself.
He says, "Serengra. It's a hospital and a institution for study." Does like air quotes as he says this. "Sanctioned by the Emperor himself, enforced by the High Lord's power." Nothing of the sort if you ask anyone with any sense in their head.
Well, if you could just point us in the right direction, we would really we'd appreciate it.
Make a persuasion roll.
That's a 12.
He says, kind of like taps his chin. He says, "Might be I could, but I don't know as my conscience would be clear sending a group of folk to a place like that. All kinds of weird, horrible stuff you hear goes on in there. Treating of the horrible maladies, they say. Yeah, well, not everyone goes in there has those maladies when they go in, if you know what I'm saying. The only malady some of those folks have is that they've crossed the wrong side of the Empire." He says, no, don't know that my conscience could support that.
Murderbeard's gonna step in and take out one of the Ignian Regals, and he goes, "How's your conscience feel now?" That was
He
Brahms'
like
voice. I guess when you're bribing somebody, you gotta go Brahm. How's your conscience feel now?
He says, "Perfectly soothed," and he like takes the regal, and he like slips it into a pocket, and he says, he points like to the south of where you are. He goes, "Head south until you see the high walls of the temple." He says, "Head along the north wall of the temple, make your way east, round the little inlet there." He says, "Eventually you'll see a big old facility on a little bit of a south peninsula there. About a, I don't know, 20-minute walk maybe. Can't miss it. That's Serengrass."
Well, thank you. We do appreciate the help.
He says, he just shakes his head and he says, "Damn fools seeking out a place like Serengrass. Damn fools." And he like starts to walk away.
Rowan just starts walking. She's
Okay.
So apparently this place is not good.
Yeah, at least we know what Serengrass is. Unfortunately, it sounds terrible.
You guys make your way. It does not take you all that long. It's about a mile of a walk. It takes you about 20 minutes. Like he said, you guys go north, or you guys go south. You see there's like these high walls behind which this like grand, like very, very, very like high architecture, wealthy looking regal temple is like behind these walls. And you kind of make your way along the road that like borders the north part of this, and it brings you around sort of this like little inlet type of thing. And you can start to see even like across the water while you're still like when you come around sort of like you come past where like the high wall of the temple ends. You can like look out across that inlet onto the other piece of land, and you see this like big like facility. These like there's a lot of like different spires and parts of the building. It's a fairly large building, and based on the directions given, you're pretty sure that's Serengra.
quick question: is this a temple to Helm or to like? Can I tell which?
Make a religion check.
Also, on stream, could you like zoom in the map a little bit more towards
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
where you're speaking about?
Once, yeah, we'll do that.
It's a 19.
A 19. So, right in the middle here. Oh, what that is that I moved. Well, we'll call that good enough. So right in the middle here, you see like
The round stuff with the walls around it, the big
the
wall.
round stuff with the big walls around it. That's the temple that you guys are passing. Like across from it, there's that little like inlet of land. There's another like big facility. That's Serengrass.
Oh, shit.
Rowan, with your religion check, you know for sure this is not a temple to Helm. You're in the Empire, and there is one imperially endorsed religion in the Empire, and it is like it's the old, like, all other religions are like fully banned here. The religion that the Empire promotes, and what this is definitely like a temple to, is the Church of Nossum. With a 19, you probably know enough about this. The Church of Nossum gets its name from High Empyrean Nossum Silverleaf. Nossum Silverleaf was the last High Empyrean of the Invarian Empire. He was sitting atop the throne when the Empire fell. When Silarax the Black Dragon that like felled the Empire, returned and razed High Invaria to the ground, Nossum Silverleaf was like the Emperor sitting atop the throne there. The Church of Nossum, Nossian priests, they believe, while like conventional, like historical record, basically says that like Nossum Silverleaf was just killed in the razing of the city. Nossian priests, the Nossian religion, believes that Nossum Silverleaf was not killed so much as he like ascended from the mortal plane to godhood. And their religion is basically centered around the idea that the Ignean Empire, as the like true inheritor of the Invarian Empire's like glory, the Ignean Empire is like the rightful dominating force of like all of Orahol, and that when all of what they would call like the usurping forces or like the other kingdoms are like vanquished and the Ignean Empire like controls all of Orahol again, that Nossum Silverleaf will like descend from the celestial plane and like become mortal again and like sit atop the throne and rule all of Orahol for like the rest of eternity. That's like the core tenet of their religion. And that's like the state endorsed religion of the Ignean Empire. So that is for sure what this is a temple to. There's no other like any other temple to like any other god anywhere in the Empire is like a secret underground temple where like people practice their religions in like private. Because if you get caught like worshiping another god, you get fully thrown in jail.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yep. But you guys find Serengra. You are able to make your way to it. You kind of get to like the sort of like cluster of buildings that are before it, and then there's like maybe a, I don't know, 500 feet, like maybe like a length of a football field of like road that run up to it where there's no other buildings, and it is walled in with gates. The walls are about 15 feet high. They are topped with these like metal spikes. The metal spikes, though, you can see are like, they come off the top and they're curved, but they're curved inward. They're curved in towards Serengras as opposed to like outside. There's a big like heavy gate and like a guard post at the front, and then you see the building. It's like one big main complex. There's like a couple of offshoot buildings as well. But that is what you see there.
Okay, what are we doing?
How many guards are at the post out front? Did you...
From where you guys are, it looks like there's probably 2 in that guard post.
Oh God. I turn to the others and say, I think I have a plan, but I'm kind of sick of my plans.
What is your plan?
Rowan pulls out the pin from Aelon Relalian and just holds it out and says, maybe we can bluff our way in. That we're here on business. I don't know if everyone gets their own specific pin or anything like that. I don't know. We can try to lie our way through. We could try to just kill these two, but I don't know what else to do.
I don't have much of a plan, but if we get close enough to the building, I might be able to message Nymue just to make sure that she's okay.
I can always turn into a spider, but you guys can't be spiders too, so...
Is there any sort of other building like surrounding, like a smaller building off to the side?
Not
Like a building that might have spare doctors' uniforms in it.
not outside. No, like you gotta get. You would certainly, to look for anything like that, you'd have to like get inside the walls. And I would say it's probably not a pretty like. I don't think it would be too much of a spoiler to say that like. I don't think any of you would think that like a dwarf, a Firbolg, a tiefling, and a human wearing like doctor's uniforms are gonna get into like. It's 100% like only elves that are like in any position of power in this place. Like that's you know for sure that's not gonna work.
Just coming in to clock in for my shift.
Building inspectors. I can make myself look like an elf.
Maybe like tapes a bunch of leaves to his ears, like, oh, just an elf. Oh, just a really short elf.
Yeah, we just get prosthetics to turn like horns into giant ears.
I mean, this place is a hospital. I mean, an easy way in would for all of us just to act crazy on the front lawn, right? I mean, that may not be the best way in, but it's a way in.
I think we would all get separated.
That's my concern, is we'll be separated. I wonder if...
Maybe we just let Thyxes act crazy on the front lawn.
Wait. We're on
Crazy
the
on the front
peninsula.
lawn. Awesome band name.
Is it like cliff sides, or is it like basically level with like the water here?
It's definitely a little like it's fairly level, but it's, you know, there's probably like retaining walls built around the actual like place on the outside of the wall, and there's maybe, you know,
if there's a retaining wall, would it make sense for there to be like a sewage drain? Like is plumbing like a thing here?
Probably not plumbing, but I think that's a good thing to investigate. Like if there's retaining walls, like there reasonably would be like places where like drainage would come out, so like when it rains and stuff, like the inside of the walls and things would like drain out to the sea. Like I think that's a very smart thing to investigate.
Great idea.
Let's do it. Let's look for a drainage pipe first, and then we can act crazy on the lawn.
Okay.
We go to look for that.
All right. Make a group stealth check for me.
We've got a plan and a plan B.
Survival check?
This will work.
Stealth check first.
Stealth check. Oh.
Are we all doing this, or
if you're all going together, or if one person's reconnaissance?
Before you guys start being stealthy, does anyone need help being stealthy?
I don't think so.
Okay, Thyxes.
Roll the 19.
I will cast on you.
Rowan is definitely rolling with disadvantage, right?
Yeah, I was just checking that.
Well,
22.
Rowan might need it more.
All right. I will cast. Oh, this is so annoying. I'm gonna use my last second level spell.
No! Don't use it. Don't use it.
Okay.
If I get caught, then I'll try my way. You guys go away from me first, and then I'll follow. And if I can get away, I can. And if I can't, I pull out the pin and I pretend.
If I'm too loud, I'm just going straight to Plan B.
Crazy in the sewers.
Crazy in the sewers.
Yes. Ooh. But don't waste a spell on me.
I rolled an 18.
Okay.
I didn't think to pack pass without a trace this time, y'all. I'm sorry.
So at disadvantage, I'm very mad because one was a natural 20.
Oh no.
The other was a 13.
Okay.
That's not bad. That's double digits.
It's not terrible, but
Thyxes rolled the same.
13. Okay. And Murderbeard.
23.
Okay.
oh god.
DC was only a 10, so you guys all made it. And even if you hadn't, Scylla and Macbeth both rolled high enough that like you would have been fine. So no problem. You guys like kind of eke your way down. You kind of go down sort of the banks. You head to like the beach that like surrounds this thing, and you walk. And you go about a quarter of the way around the like western side, so like closer to the temple. And sure enough, you find a large, like 10-foot diameter, like stone pipe that protrudes out of the like the retaining wall and leads like back towards the grounds of Serengrass.
Does it have like a grate on it, or is it just
Yeah,
open?
it's got like a grate with like big iron bars on it.
I cast Reduce on the grate.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I think what happens is just that, like, it does make a bit of noise because, like, the grate, like, rips itself out of the stone as it shrinks down. So there's, like, this...
Oops. Quickly.
And the grate just, like, falls. It's, like, dinner plate size now, and just falls into this tunnel, but it's open. There's, like, a couple of inches of water in here. You guys just, like, run in there.
I kick the grate out just so it doesn't re-enlarge.
Okay,
inside
yeah.
the tunnel.
Frisbee that shit right into the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just kick it out into the sand or whatever.
You just roll it out of the way. Cool, no problem.
Yeah.
So you guys all, like...
I almost wild magicked on that. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
It was close. It was close.
You guys run. You guys run down this tunnel. It eventually starts to like slope up. It takes you guys a little bit of time because you eventually have to like, kind of like, shimmy and like press your like arms to the side of this thing and like crawl yourself up. It's not really intended to be like climbed and walked, so you have to like drag yourself up. You guys are like totally soaked. It's like wet and like dirty now. This is not a sewer. I want to like make sure we're clear about that. It's like definitely like a rainwater drainage. So it's just like wet and muddy and like kind of foul, but it's not like you're not like crawling through like poo tunnel. Like, so you get inside and you can see, you're like looking up as you get inside, and you get to the other end of this tunnel and you see you're looking at like a square, similarly barred grate that is like seems to be like on the ground. And you can just kind of see some, like, looks like landscaping, some, like, shrubbery type stuff, kind of, like, above, coming off the side of the grate. The grate's, like, just wide enough that, like, Scylla in her, Rowan in her armor and Scylla, like, being, like, large, are gonna, like, would be able to, like, squeeze themselves up out of it. Murderbeard and Thyxes, like, are no problem. If you guys can get this grate off, you guys can get out.
Maybe don't reduce that one just yet.
I could reduce both of you so you could get through.
Why don't you? Should you maybe you save your spell slots and we can.
Well, that's what I was going to suggest. It might burn me out.
We can try to climb up and pull it off, or push it off.
Yeah, I'm gonna climb up and.
Okay. Make an athletics check.
I'll go up under her so that she just like has some like support. Like I'll like basically brace myself so that she's not like.
Then make that roll with advantage as Scylla is like helping you out.
Okay, that's good. 21.
Okay, yeah, 20 was the mark. So with a 21, that is just enough to like, and you like your like muscles flex, and you. It makes a little bit of a noise, but it sounds like there was some sort of a like hinged like locking mechanism, so that this thing could be like unlocked and opened and cleaned from the outside. But like you managed to just like break it at that weak point, and it like flips open on like a hinge. And you managed to open this up.
I motion for somebody else to go first. It's maybe stealthier than me, so I can look around. So I get out of the way.
I mean, I'm pretty stealthy, but I'm like a big person. But you know what? I'm really perceptive, so I'll just shimmy up and like poke my head out, and I'll like flick my Firbolg ears around, and I'll see what's going on up here.
Okay, you Scylla, you like climb your way and you find you are in fact like inside like a shrubbery. So this grate is like kind of concealed by some landscaping. And you see that you are on the grounds of Serengrass, and you see that like there's a couple of kind of smaller buildings here and there, but basically it's one kind of big main building with several like kind of wings. It's about 3 stories high. And you can see that there's like kind of some like manicured lawns. There's some paths that like people might walk around, and kind of like gardens and things like that. You guys are concealed inside some like hedges and stuff that are like bordering one of these little gardens. From your vantage inside this bush, you guys are like hidden, so like you can't really be seen from outside this. You can see there's like a few individuals like walking around the like the grounds holding like lanterns that look like they're, you know, grounds watchmen, like guards type of guys. They are all wearing these like white outfits, like tunic and trousers that are like white like laced cloth shoes. And you see they all, in just that lantern, you see they all have this like baton thing like in their belt. And there's probably like from where you are, there's like 2 of them that are kind of in the process of like rounding the building towards like other parts. It's not heavily guarded. You know, like you're pretty sure you guys could like kind of all clamber out here and like, as long as you're careful, move around the grounds a little bit without getting spotted. But you definitely see that there are some people patrolling around out here.
Okay, then I will like hop up out of there and like try to help pull everybody up, because I'm like, I mean, Scylla does have like a bonus to strength, but I also have like the Firbolg racial ability where like my like carrying capacity and like pushing and lifting is just like absolutely juiced. So like,
Sure.
I'm gonna just help pull everybody up.
Easy enough. It takes you just a moment. You pull everybody out. You guys are all like hiding in this bush together now, looking at this building. There are like windows, you know, at the various stores. They all have like heavy bars on them.
What's the roof situation like? Slanted, flat? Anybody up there?
Slanted, nobody up there that you see. You don't see any like there's no like, doesn't look like there's any like attic windows or anything like that. The roof is, you know, solid.
Should I'm saying this quietly, but for stream I'm not going to.
That's fine. Yeah.
Should I use the magic to see what direction she's in?
Will that tell you if
Go
she's
for
like
it. Yeah.
low? If she's like underground or anything?
Well, I have to try to... It's not her, it's an object, so... But it will tell me, her location, as long as she's within 1,000 feet, and if she's moving the direction.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. If you can figure out which direction she's in, I might be able to send her a message.
Let's hope this works, because now we're in here. Okay, now I'm going to cast... I get out my little, like, I like the little wishbone-shaped piece of driftwood, and, I'm going to cast Locate Object. The object that I'm looking for... I think I'm gonna do the same one as last time, and it's, like, the clasp that's on her cloak, because that's, like, a very specific object. It's, like, the lunar clasp. Anything else I think would be too generic.
Okay.
But yeah, that's... If it's not on her, then I won't know where she is. I'll just know where it is.
Clasp of her.
Yeah, like in the art, she has like the... It's like
Yeah,
a moon.
no, I know what you're talking about. I'm just trying to think of like where this thing is.
It's on her because she's not naked.
It's up her
Yeah, that's
body.
the question. Am I naked?
You're not. You're not. When you woke up, you're not naked. You're wearing
Okay.
something.
Just checking.
Up her bum. She's concealed it.
Oh, no, Nike.
I don't... I
She's
literally
used nature's body.
don't know what other object I would use to locate her. You
Yeah,
know?
normally it's on her kimono, like, top.
So
It's not a cloak, it's a kimono top.
I think what you discover with the use of this spell is that you said this is the
It's locate
Direction.
object.
Within 1,000 feet of you. The object is within range. It is from like where you are standing on like the grounds. It's out ahead of you. What you gauge to be like, from what you can tell, like the direct center of the building. And below you. Down.
I communicate that to my party. That is where her cloak clasp is.
With that spell, I mean, this would probably be a rules question though, but would I know it says up to 1,000 feet. Like, would she know like a distance, like generally? Or
yeah, that's why.
would
Like I say roughly, and that's why I say like dead center of the building. So like that kind of gives you a gauge that like, because I don't know the like square footage of this building, so it'd be like it would just be me making up a number. So like, you guys can basically see like where the wall is, and you kind of know where the far wall of this building is. So that's why I say like she kind of knows like sort of mid-ish of the building and down.
Okay, so the reason I say that is because I was going to kind of point in that direction, and it doesn't say with this spell that I necessarily have to see someone. I just have to point toward a finger towards a creature within range, which is 120 feet. So I'm going to attempt to send Nymue a message and just say, Nymue, we're close. Are you okay? Are you hurt?
Okay.
You can respond to this message.
Excellent. Okay, and with that, let's go to Nymue. Leedle, indeed. So I'm gonna do this again.
Oh no.
And we're gonna transition back to wherever you are, Nymue.
Sure.
The scene stuck you with something. You felt the sharp pinch of some sort of a cold instrument being like pushed into like the crook of your arm. And then you felt as if fire were ringing through your veins. It spreads from your arm up your shoulder into your chest, your legs, your neck. The tips of your fingers and your toes feel like they're being like scalded. Whatever it is that has been like pressed into you. You don't take any like damage. But it causes you to like involuntarily, your muscles like start to like spasm. You begin to like almost like seize against the bindings that are holding you to this table or whatever this is. And you can feel the, like, you described it as a pull. You can feel the pull of the, like, the power of this entity that resides within you. You feel it as if, it's almost as if whatever this compound is, this, like, whatever it's doing to your body, you feel it as the entity in you reacts. It doesn't have any direction to, like, rise up and, you know, like, defend you. You know, you kind of, like, target it when you're pulling upon this power. But I think you probably feel, like, the warmth of, like, your tattoos begin to glow, and the sort of just directionless, like, psionic power sort of, like, flows through you. And this lasts for some amount of time. You have trouble telling if it's a few seconds, a minute. Eventually it subsides, and you're just in a cold sweat, and you feel as if you've just run miles. You're exhausted. Your arms and legs feel weak from the exertion of, like, struggling against these bonds. And you just hear that scratch of quill against paper as the scene takes notes. And he says, "Interesting. You have a particularly powerful bonded entity. A promising initial result. How do you feel? Describe the condition of your bond."
Do I feel like the bond has weakened at all?
No. In fact, you feel as if whatever he has, like, pumped you full of is, like, agitating it. It almost feels like it's closer to the surface than normal.
Feels like you pissed it off, honestly.
There's a couple of, like, quick notes. And the scene says, "My previous experiences have not indicated that these entities are capable of feeling such personified emotions. Fascinating."
Well, you did say I was, like, different, so...
There's the sound of, like, something, it sounds maybe like metallic being, like, scraped against stone, maybe? And you feel like fingers take you by the chin as, like, who you assume to be this scene, like, takes you and, like, pushes your chin back. Like, your head is strapped down by your forehead, so there's not much motion, but he kind of, like, lifts your chin a little bit, like, exposing your neck. And his fingers are, like, his fingers are kind of cold. They're a little, like, they're a little clammy, like, you just, like, just an involuntary, like, shiver goes through you as, like, his fingers touch you. And he says, "The energetic load required of a physical form to be endured for the purposes of this experiment is enough to burn away many of the nerve endings and blood vessels and capillaries at the surface of your flesh. This is unpleasant."
So
Based
let's
on-
not do that.
He says, he kind of, like, "Oh, but we must. You see, the amount of arcane power that needs to be able to transfer through the necessary conduit without killing them is significant. I imagine if you survive this process and go on to my master, you will appreciate the burning of your nerve endings here. I gather the rigors of his testing are far worse than mine." And something is, like, dragged across your neck
Can we play a different game? Can we play a different game?
very gently, and then removed. And then you feel something like pressed to where that small cut was made, as if he's like taken a little bit of your blood or something, and you hear him move away from you, and you hear him like busying himself at some sort of like a table or something. You hear like the clinking of like glass and the moving of some things, and it is at that point in your mind you hear something else. You hear Thyxes. And you hear him deliver that message, and it ends with, you can respond to this message.
Thank the gods, Thyxes. I'm being experimented on, like, right this second, so...
She's being
Please
experimented on right this second. Please hurry. we gotta go quick, guys.
Are we going in crossbows blazing or sneaky?
So as you respond to that message, Nymue, we'll move back, and you guys get the response, and we're back on the main party here. In fact, we'll do this. So you guys get that response.
Oh God. Does your sneakiness that you were mentioning, Victoria, does that require a spell slot?
I'm really hesitant to use any. I literally only have one third level and three first levels left, and I'm trying to save the third level for something.
Yeah. Screw it. We could.
Are we going in big? Are we going in hot, you guys?
I look to Murderbeard and Thyxes. Opinions?
Yeah, I could try to manipulate someone into taking us in, but it's going to look out of place. It is.
Is there a door in that direction? Like where we detected the location?
So you guys kind of were able to see from when you were like looking from the front before you moved around here. You saw that there was like a main entrance to this place right in the front, like past where you would go in through the gate. From where you guys are now, you see like no entrances on the side. You can see that there's one sort of like catty corner on the back, but it looks like it has been it looks like it's been like sealed. You get the impression, like just like as you're kind of like looking at the like recurved spikes on the top of the walls, you get the impression that this place has been built to like not to keep people out, but to keep people in. And part of that seems to be that, like, for the main facility that you see, there is, like, one entrance in and out. And that's, like, the front door. There are other, like, there's windows, they have bars on them. There are, like, other back doors that have been sealed. So, like, theoretically, if you guys have means to, like, rip the side off of the building or something, like, you could go in a different way. But, like, any other path than the front door is going to require some, like, pretty serious doing.
I've got 9 minutes left on this spell to know exactly where she is. I can turn into a brown baron and try to rip the bars off a window. What are we doing?
Okay, I think we try and bluff our way in, and then if that doesn't work, bears.
Or just go in swinging.
I think we should just go for it. Personally,
What's our bluff?
Which way is the front door?
Is the front
Like
door
to
like
your-
the opposite of where she is?
Yeah, where?
So imagine where you guys are standing, like you're looking forward. The front of the building is to your left. The back of the main building is to your right. It's kind of like, it's a little longer. It's like rectangular shaped, so it's a little longer than it is wide. She is like what you gauge to be like dead center, like lengthwise of the building, and dead center widthwise of the building and down. So like if you go to the front door, like if you would go to your left around the front of the building into the front door, and then you would know she's about like halfway down the building and down from there.
What's this building made of?
Chat said bluff or bears, good luck Rowan, and gave you a bardic inspiration. Thanks.
What'd you say, Russell?
Thanks, Jason.
What's this building made of?
Stone.
That was the word I needed to hear.
Thank you, Jason. Um.
I have a plan.
Oh gosh.
What is your plan?
Well, if we're gonna go with the bluff, I have a plan. But if we just want to go in
Whatever
there,
we do, we gotta hurry.
go.
Because she's
Alright,
being
and I'm gonna like,
experiment.
march. I said, everybody look official, and I'm gonna march up to the door.
Okay.
Okay.
I will-
You.
Do my thing to look like one of these people in the whites. My Firbolg magic.
Okay, so you
Thyxes
disguise
steps out
self to
with
me.
confidence.
Yeah, I disguise self and look like one of these people because I can shrink like 3 feet.
So
with
you
the-
shrink down. You make yourself look like an elf with a white uniform on.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and the rest of you go with Nymue. You guys, Scylla. You guys walk around the front of the building. You just the way that it like the timing works out. You guys are not like you just walk to the front of the building without encountering one of like the grounds guards, and you walk right up to the front door without encountering anybody.
And there's nobody guarding the door.
Not from the outside.
Oh, is the door open?
You can find out.
I
Try
will
the door.
try the door.
Okay. I am gonna create. I'm gonna create a. I'm opening up tabletop sim. If you guys just want to watch it on stream, you can for now. Or you can open up tabletop sim yourself. Same information as usual. But I will close this. Scale you guys down to here. So you guys open the door. Fall in a heap into the in here. Nymue is gone. But the group of you, I will just put you here for now because you're like technically outside the door. You open the door, and don't worry about this guy because he's here, but I can't move him. You open the door, and you are looking at what appears to be like a reception area. There's like some benches, a couple of tables. There's like an area where there's like a walled-in, like officious space here. There is a dude standing with his back towards you, looking at like another guy in, like behind this booth. They were like having a conversation. As you guys just swing the door open, they both turn and look at you.
I'm gonna pay them no mind, and I'm gonna turn to disguise Scylla and be like, all right, so here's what we got to do. All right, there's a lot of structural integrity going on. There's a real serious problem here. This is whoever built this stone was not good.
Okay, you say that. Let's move you inside here so that we can do this.
It's a good thing you called me.
Thyxes is just gonna go.
You guys walk in. Scylla, what are you doing?
I am in under my breath in Elvish, just being like, "Oh no! Like I can't believe this happened."
Okay.
She's not charismatic.
Murderbeard, make a bluff, make a deception check. Here's
I can't believe they would let this go for so long.
Here's the thing. Scylla has disguised yourself, and you're like acting like you're I don't know what. Are you? Okay, let me make a deception. Straight deception roll for right now.
It's 19 plus 9.
Okay. These two guys turn. These pair of elves like turn, and the one looks at Murderbeard. He looks at the other, like Rowan and Thyxes, and he looks to Scylla, and he goes to Scylla, who's like disguised as one of these white uniformed people, and he goes, "What is all this then?"
Is he saying that in Elvish?
Yes.
Okay, in Elvish, I will respond, and I don't think I'm not doing her accent for this because I feel like when she speaks Elvish, she doesn't sound the way that she does when she speaks Common.
Okay.
Basically saying like that they found structural damage that a patient could use to escape, and so these like masonry inspectors are here to help.
Thyxes immediately rushes up at this because I understand Elvish as well. And I will speak in Elvish, and I will say, let me introduce myself, Inspector Rudebaker, here along with Chief Inspector Lemons McGraw. And I just gesture over towards...
As Thyxes...
fancy talk. We got so much going on. We don't have time for this.
Thyxes, as you come up, this guy, like, recoils from you and, like, takes several steps back, and he's looking at you like you're like a leper.
Well, excuse me. I'm sorry.
He turns back to Scylla, and he says, "What is this? Why has not the Imperial Corps of Engineers been dispatched to handle any structural imbalances in the Serengraph facilities? What are these
Is he still talking in Elvish?
creatures?" Speaking in Elvish to Scylla. This is a dwarf and whatever in the nine hells that is. And he
What's he
points at
saying?
Thyxes.
I will just say
I cast message towards Murderbeard.
I will just say
I translate.
this is an emergency measure until the paperwork is filed.
I turn to him.
Yeah.
Look at me, Sonny. All right. There's two things. All right. You got a serious structural problem here. Okay. Now you elves may be good at certain things like making wines and stuff, but when it comes to stone, you call a dwarf. Look at this. Look at this wall. This is a shit wall.
Scylla,
He said it's a shit wall.
make a deception check at disadvantage.
If Chief Inspector McGraw says it's a shit wall, it is a shit wall.
Yo, this is about to be. So it's like a dirty one.
Wait. Are you supposed to roll deception, or was Murderbeard supposed to roll deception?
Scylla. He's
Scylla,
refusing to talk to Murderbeard and Thyxes.
Inspector Lemons McGraw has a player inspiration.
Chief
in the chat.
Look, we have a serious structural problem. We don't have time for your racism.
He pulls out his, like, that baton at his waist, and he turns to the other one, and he goes, "Summon the god. I don't know what this is." And he, like, approaches towards you guys with this baton.
Turn into a dire wolf.
Oh, shit, okay!
And I bite him.
Alright, so, roll initiative. Everybody roll initiative. I'm gonna give you guys a surprise round.
I'm gonna look that elf in the face and go, you should have listened to me about the shit wall. And then I'll draw my sword.
Okay, they're gonna roll their initiative here. Oh boy.
Matt, you can just leave me right where I was.
Okay. Alright,
I
initiative.
saw that in that one, yeah.
Thanks, it's got a 1.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I got an 18 again.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I looked at my principles, not my initiative. 15.
15. And Rowan.
14.
And Rowan, 14. Alright, so
Well,
you
we
guys
gave it a
have...
go, guys, but we didn't make it past the first room.
You guys have a surprise round. Go ahead and Scylla, you were the first to act as this guy like pulls his baton and then you just turn into a wolf and he's like, "Whoa!" And you do what?
I'm biting the shit out of him.
All right, roll to hit.
Is there anybody within 5 feet of him? Any
No.
of my allies? Damn.
No, not quite.
Okay. Oh my god, it was almost a nat 20. 24.
Yeah, that definitely hits. Roll damage.
He has to make a strength save DC 13.
He rolls. The dice is a 13. I don't think he has minus. He's a +1, so he gets a 14. He makes the strength
So
save.
then he's not knocked prone,
Okay.
but he does take 7 points of piercing damage as I bite
Alright.
him.
So you lunge onto this guy. Your jaws like clamp around the arm that he's raising with this baton. And he goes like, ah! And he like turns to the other guys and he goes, the gods, quickly! Murderbeard, that brings us to you.
Okay. Does a 15 hit?
15 does hit. Who are you shooting?
The guy, like that main guy right in front of us.
Okay. You're firing a crossbow at him, or you're walking up and stabbing him?
No, I was like, I assumed that I had walked up pretty close to him.
Okay, so that's fine. So you
I'm
can
already
make a melee.
Yeah.
Easy enough. Ooh. There you go. Yes, that does hit.
23 points of damage.
He's like, the gods, and you just like stick your sword into his throat, and pull it out, and he like goes limp in Scylla's jaws. He is dead.
And that's it.
Okay. Okay. Rowan, you are next.
This guy back here.
Yep.
Is that like glass blocking him from us?
Yes.
Okay. And there's like a small little opening at the bottom, and that's it.
Yep. But it's like it doesn't look like it's not like this is high fantasy. It's not bulletproof glass. Like it's just glass.
Right. I'm gonna. It's not bulletproof glass, and I have no other remove right now. How far can I get up to there in my movement in 30 feet?
30 feet will get you right to that. Yep.
I'm going to literally just stab through the glass with my sword.
Okay, yeah, roll the hit.
Because I don't have time to deal with that door. Dirty 20.
That definitely hits. Roll damage.
Why can I never find the right die to roll?
Roll all of them and see what happens.
I know, right? That's 10 points of damage.
You stab your sword through, the glass shatters. You stab into this guy as he's like reaching forward and like underneath the table counter that's on the other side of this half wall. And you stab into him and he's like, ah! But he's still alive. That is gonna bring us to him, in fact. And he, though he is stabbed, he is still alive, and he reaches under that table, and he draws his hand back. And that's all he does.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's his turn. So that brings us to Thyxes. Actually, sorry. It probably does make sense. He doesn't have the battle smarts for this. He is gonna try, and he does whatever he does with his action. He is gonna try and get away from you. So he's gonna back up and try and stumble back away from this towards this door here. But that will give you an attack of opportunity, Rowan.
Oh yeah, swinging at him again. That's 19 on the dice plus stuff.
That definitely hits. I'm not even gonna make you worry about damage. He's got 1 hit point.
Okay.
You just flick the blade up as he backs away, and you catch him under the jaw, and he just blat and flops kind of bonelessly back.
Okay.
He bumps into one of the chairs back here, which clatters, and he falls to the ground, unmoving. Okay.
Can I
go ahead.
Run around to the door?
You can. As you start to do that, so we'll go out of initiative. You guys can kind of start moving around. Rowan goes to run over to this door. As you guys are doing that, this door here opens.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that this is a dude, this mini, but a person opens this door, and a female elven woman opens the door and pokes her head out and goes, "What in the play?" And slams the door shut again.
Charging the door.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys like redirect here. You go to the door. Okay. You like rush to the door. The door has been locked, and you hear like scuffling inside.
I get out of Scylla's way.
I charge the door.
Make an
Throw my
athletics.
body
Make an
against it.
athletics check.
Okay, do direwolves have it? They do. Direwolves have a +6 to athletics.
Snap, dude.
Okay. Oh
Crack
my
the door.
lord. 30-20.
Yeah. You just throw your like wolf shoulder into the door. The door like explodes inward and like shatters into splinters and is like fully destroyed. This woman who you see was like in the process of like trying to push like a small bookcase in front of the door from the other side is like smashed backwards and like hits the back end of the wall. She is she's an elven woman. She has like chestnut brown hair. She is wearing she's not wearing like a white uniform like a lot like these other guys were. She's wearing like kind of like dark blue robes. But she like hits the wall, hits the ground, and like puts her hands up and is like cowering and covering her face.
I go over to her and grab her by the front of her robes.
Grab her
And
pick her up.
I just say, "You're gonna take us where we want to go."
She says, "Ow, who are you?
I
Oh, no,
cover
she's
her
got-
mouth.
Who are you? What do you want?"
No. I cover her mouth so she can't talk. And I just say, "Follow the wolf. If you make a sound, you're dead." And I look to Scylla for
She like
guidance.
nods.
So I still have concentration on locate object because disguise self is not concentration and neither is my wild shape. So I'm following the pull,
Okay.
if I may.
What are the rest of you guys doing as this happens? Like Rowan like yanks this woman out of here.
I would like to do another message towards Nymue.
Okay.
And this time, Thyxes would probably say, "We're on the way. In the building. Be there soon. Is there any danger ahead? Can you give us any hints?" You can respond to this message.
Nymue, you get this message. The scene is making some notes, and you hear him. It sounds like he's like setting something up, like directly next to the table that you're tied down to. You're not sure what it is. He has not been like talking to you since he like took some of your blood. And you get another message from Thyxes.
He's going to try to fry my nerve endings, so maybe haste would be nice.
In terms of like the questions he asked, you don't know anything about like where you are right now because they knocked you out in
I
that
am
lobby.
completely blinded. I have a crazy mad scientist trying to burn off my nerve endings. That's all I got for you, is like Thyxes.
I tell everybody, they're trying to burn off our nerve endings. We've got to hurry.
Schniffling.
It's back at the top. So your sense of smell, and your spell, Scylla, guide you like in this direction. You get to here. And there's a staircase up and a staircase down. So you're heading that way. You're dragging this lady with you. Are you guys all following her?
Murderbeard.
Okay. You have the sense from your spell she is below you. You went past her as you were going down this hallway, but like she is below you. And you can definitely smell the, like, you smell her trail that she was, like, brought down this way. And as you get to this, like, staircase that leads down, you smell like something, like, just, like, awful coming from down there. Murderbeard and Thyxes, what are your guys' passive perceptions, real quick? As you're the only ones leaving that reception room without, like, being a wolf or having a prisoner.
11.
Okay.
12.
Okay, 12 is enough. Murderbeard, you notice as you guys are, like, leaving that main reception area, there is, like, a placard thing kind of on the wall near where that guard station thing, or that like reception desk thing was, kind of here. And you see that there's a bunch of stuff. You don't read or speak Elvish, right?
I don't know.
Okay. You do see that there is, like, something, like a placard written there that has, like, a bunch of information listed, and you can't read it, but, like, the way it's laid out, it looks like it might be, like, a directory of, like, the layout of this building.
Okay.
So if you do anything with that information, you have it. You notice that as like, the rest of your party runs down this hallway.
I'll point that out to people who might read Elvish.
Thyxes reads Elvish,
I think
right?
you know Thyxes
Yeah,
does.
Thyxes reads it.
I do.
So, like, Thyxes, you get, like, halfway down this hallway, and Murderbeard's like, and he, like, points at this sign.
Okay, what does it say?
Are you running back to, like, read it?
Yes.
Okay, so Scylla and Rowan, you guys are heading to this, like, staircase. You see that, like, Murderbeard, like, points this thing out. Thyxes, like, turns around and goes, like, go and look. They kind of, like, run behind you as you guys get to this staircase. What are you guys doing?
I will wait for them, but I
Okay.
kind of let out, like, a low whine, like, trying to, like,
Okay.
Hurry, yeah.
Yeah.
I wait and keep the
Okay.
woman from talking.
Thyxes, you read the directory here. It is, in fact, a directory. It says Serengrass main building directory. It says first floor, reception, intake examination rooms, dispensary, director, arcanist, Helena Kaladuras. Second floor, Ward A, permanent patient psychiatric ward, patient cafeteria, surgical suite A. Director, arcanist, Madric Jaliriel. Third floor, Ward B, infectious disease and arcane ward. Director, Medica Kyrian Fendemir. Sublevel 1, Ward D, restricted.
I relay all that. I kind of read it aloud to Murderbeard.
Do any of those sound like where they might be keeping Nymue?
I mean, like, according to Scylla, you know that Nymue is down below the main level here, and, like, sub-level 1, Ward D restricted matches that, that
Okay.
description.
So I'll like point out. I go, that's like that's probably where I need to go.
So you guys, like, run over here, and Nymue is, like, or Scylla, you're at the top of this kind of stairwell. It leads down. There is, like, a heavy door. There's, like, a stone archway here, like, leading into the kind of stairwell, and then there's a heavy door at the base of the stairwell.
I look back at Rowan and this woman.
I shake her a little, like not like too rough, but does this need a key?
She's kind of like, I'm just double checking something real quick. Okay. She's like very shaken, and she says, yes, the door is, the door to this scene's what is locked always.
Do you have a key?
She kind of like, she has like sort of a disgusted face. She's, no. And says, he will not tolerate any of the other darkness in his realm. Not that I would want to go down there anyway.
So you're a director here.
She says, what do you people want? Who are you?
Yeah, that's enough out of you. Scylla, break the door.
Start throwing myself at this door.
Scylla, as soon as you pass the threshold into like the stairwell here, your like locate object spell ends. The magic is just cut clean off from you.
Murderbeard is also gonna to our captive lady. I'm going to attempt to do something after she has clearly ceased to be proving helpful. I will say, if you don't have a key, then you'll be a key, and I'm gonna like knock her head against the wall and try and knock her out.
Okay, yeah, you do that. It's not particularly difficult. You just like clonk, and she is knocked unconscious.
I, as a wolf, just kind of shake my head after losing the spell, and I'm gonna continue trying to get down there.
Make an athletics check against that door.
Okay. Oh God. A million. Hold on. Specifically, plus 6, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
With a 24, you just manage to break that door down. The door has like a metal core. It looks like a wood door, and when you hit it, it goes like and like there's a metal core in that door. And Scylla, you actually as a wolf,
You can take damage from that.
yeah, you're gonna take 6 points of bludgeoning damage, as you just like throw yourself into this door, but you do break the locking mechanism on the door, and it opens, and the like stairwell down is opened up.
I look back at my friends.
Yeah, I just start going down the stairs with my
Okay.
sword out.
All right. What are you doing with this lady now that she's like unconscious?
Just leaving her there.
Okay. So she's just knocked out. You leave her up here. All right.
Really quick, does Thyxes like cast magic out of like some kind of like? Doesn't he have like an arcane focus?
Yes.
Okay, if he has that out, can I try to just like nudge it? Or I can't talk. I'm just trying to like. I'm trying to like bring attention to his like magical like thing, because it seems like magic down here is really messed up, and I'm like gonna just whine at him as we're going. I'm like,
Okay. So that Thyxes, Scylla sort of like nudging your arcane focus.
I look at Rowan. What's her problem?
I don't. Maybe it's. I don't know. Can I insight check the wolf?
Yeah.
Try to figure out what she's going on about.
Yeah. Make an insight check.
Need to get this wolf a chalkboard.
That's a 12. It's not great.
Scylla seems to be concerned with something regarding like magic and the threshold of this like stairwell.
I just tell Thyxes that. I'm like, I think it has something to do with magic. Maybe she senses something that we can't, 'cause she's better at that than us.
Is Nymue trapped in the well?
Clearly she's trapped here. And
I growl at Murderbeard and just go down.
I just go down. Yeah.
Okay, you guys go down. Thyxes, are you going with them?
The way you asked that makes me nervous.
Well,
but
they
yes,
okay, yeah. Nothing. Yeah, I mean, nothing happens. Nothing happens.
Well, I do want to ask you one thing. I don't know if this would I don't know if this is something that Thyxes would know or not, but I do have mage armor on myself currently.
When you
If
yes, so
something-
yes, something does happen. With that mage
Okay,
armor running,
sure.
when you pass the threshold, your mage armor
Uh-huh.
is dispelled, turns off.
I feel really weak.
Okay, so you guys head down
I
the
think she's
stairs.
right.
You head down the stairs, Thyxes. You feel your mage armor dispelled as you pass the threshold into the stairwell. You guys descend several. You send like several sets of staircases. It's like one down, a landing, and then another down. And you come to another doorway. This door is closed, and there is a kind of a faint, almost like reddish glow coming from beneath it.
Oh no, red means evil.
Through the door ahead of us, you said?
Yep. So, like, I've moved your map here, but you guys are technically, like, on this side of this door. There's just no map for this part. Theoretically, you guys are out here still in the stairwell.
Okay. Is that door locked?
You can try it.
I shrug and I check the door.
Check the door. This door, not locked. Opens
I
up.
figured if the big one was open or was that severely locked.
Yeah. This door opens up. And you guys are able to walk into what is a long kind of hallway, illuminated by this sort of like sourceless reddish ruddy glow that seems to be like almost emanating from some of the stones, and there is another door at the end of this hallway.
I mean, Rowan's terrified that Nimue's in trouble, so Rowan's just walking down the hallway. She's going down the hallway towards the next door.
Right
Right
You guys
behind, in
walk
case
down.
shit is locked.
Walk down to this door. Are you just checking this door?
As we're walking down the hallway,
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, Thyxes is going to cast Prestidigitation to make like a little trinket just appear in his hand to see if
Okay.
anything happens.
Okay. Yeah, you do that. It appears. Seems no problem. Doesn't seem like there's any issue casting magic down here.
Whew.
Okay. Rowan, you're just trying this door?
Yeah.
You open the door. The door opens. You find yourselves now in a chamber that is large and primarily empty. There are some ornate kind of carvings on some of the walls here. They're just these sort of like they're like humanoid figures, but they're like the way that they're etched into the wall. They have like a very anatomical design to them. Like you can see like musculature is like very specifically like put into these etchings. There is an archway in front of you with no door in it that leads into what seems to be like another chamber. From in here, there's like kind of a greenish light mixed in with the reddish light. And just quickly, you spot another door here, like a wooden door over to the side here, and directly like on the same wall that you guys came through, there is another door over here. And that is what you see. What are you guys doing? What's your next move here?
I look at Scylla because I'm following her nose at this point. I mean, I don't necessarily know that the spell's over, so I'm just looking at her.
Yeah, I guess I'll. I know that like we had passed over her location when we went to the stairs.
I mean, you
But I
can
don't
still,
have-
as a wolf, you can still make a perception check with your scent.
Yeah, I'm gonna sniff. I'm gonna try to smell those French fries that Nymue smells like. No, I feel like she smells like bamboo and like sushi. I don't know. Oh, hold on, I have advantage for sniffing. Not great. It was 7, but then I add my own because it's a mental. It's a 14.
14 is good enough. 14 is good enough. It's a little hard. Scylla, like, down here smells like death and fire and something that you can't identify. It is not anything of the natural world that you have ever smelled.
Burned hair.
There's like, it's almost like astringent and like synthetic. But it like makes the hair on your like woven like hackles like automatically like lift. It is nasty, whatever it is. But you do catch like a hint, a whiff of like Nymue's scent. And so what we're gonna do real quick is we're gonna switch over. Nymue, you're on this table. You hear the scene like finish whatever he was doing. And he comes over and he says, "Now, the first of my tests will begin in earnest. Steel yourself. I should hate to lose you so quickly."
Hey, before we start, can I ask you one more question?
There's like a brief moment of consideration. He says, "I suppose you may."
What's your favorite color? She's just doing anything to stop this man.
He's quiet for he's quiet for a while, and you almost seem like you feel like you maybe like caught him off guard. And he goes, "When I was a small boy, I remember finding a dead lizard. I don't know what had killed it, but it had been slashed all along the length of its body. I remember the ground was marble in the High District. The red of its blood, the white marble. Such a fascinating color. And then you hear as like above the sound of a door being like smashed off of its hinges is heard, and he goes, "Ah."
So what's your favorite animal then? Lizards?
He says, "Oh no. My favorite animal. It's one of my own design. Perhaps if you survive, you'll see it. But it seems we have guests now, and I must prepare my lovelies." "Don't go anywhere." And you hear him move away from you, and a few moments later, the four of you rush into this chamber, and you see, standing around the room, it's a few things that you notice. The first is that you see Nymue. She's wearing like a surgical gown, just like a white like cloth gown has replaced her clothing. And she is like attached to a table with these like heavy iron restraints. Standing over her, looking at you guys, is a man wearing dark, like purple and black robes. His hair, which is long and hangs down over his shoulders, is stark white, kind of like Nimue's is. His skin is pure midnight black, and his eyes, there's no whites to his eyes. They're entirely black, and the sclera are black, and the pupil is like two pinpricks of like perfect white in the center of his eyes. And he has long, pointed ears and like high cheekbones and very like kind of gaunt, angular features. And you see this scene. He's got some sort of like table of instruments next to Nymue, and this catches your attention. But what draws your attention immediately after this is what else is in this room. There are other creatures in here besides the two of them. And they're kind of like here. They sort of like are along the walls. They are unlike anything that you have ever seen before. They are vaguely like humanoid in height. You know, they kind of vary in height between like anywhere between like 5 and 6 feet. They are bound like head to toe in similar, like almost like straitjacket-esque apparel, but like their legs, their arms, their bodies, their torso, everything is like fully wrapped and enclosed in these like bound and chained garments that basically just leaves them like, they almost look like a mummy with just like their head free. And they are floating about 6 inches off the ground. They turn their heads in unison to look at you. And what you see, the only like bits of their like self that is exposed, because there is even like a leather like binding around most of their head, the upper portion of their head. The only thing you see is like their lower, like the lower part of their heads. And it looks as if like their lips and like parts of their jaws have been physically removed. So you just see these like skeletal like teeth and like tongues into these like open like mouths that they like are incapable of closing. They don't have eyes. It looks like it has been like surgically implanted into like where their nose and eyes would be. There are like single like magenta like cut gemstones that are embedded into their skulls. And attached to their backs, you can see there's some sort of a device that has been attached to their backs that has like another one of these like magenta crystals. And there are tubes coming out of this device and like embedded into points along their like shoulders and their chests, and one big one into the back of their heads. And there is like an awful, evil looking green liquid pumping through these tubes. And there's 4 of them that you can see here, and these 4 creatures like turn towards you, and they make this like type of noise, which may not have come through to you guys on Discord, but I assure you it was horrible. And Arcanist Lorson Thysene, standing over Nymue, attached to this like table, looks at you guys, and he says, "Ah, and I had just been running out of subjects. Splendid." And that is where we'll end tonight's session.
No!
I told you, Red Man Evil.
No! I can't wait 2 weeks for this.
Yeah, I can't do this.
I can't do it. Let's keep playing.
Can we get a team off? Can we just really go? We got some shit to do.
Be like, hey man, listen, like those your little puppets are like super cool, like love them. We have a ship that we need to sail. Can we just like put a pin in this?
We'll come
Love
back
what
later.
you're doing, but
Promise.
like let's hang out later.
BRB.
Oh, goodness. Okay, well, hey, that's tonight's episode. So thank you one and all. Thank you guys as always for joining me. And thank our audience for sticking with us tonight. As we've had a bunch of people in chat appreciating the upsetting nature of all of this. But yeah,
Thank you,
so
Matt,
let's.
for running.
Oh, always.
Yeah, seriously, this was like an extra juicy
So
session.
good,
Like
so
the
good.
drama.
The drama.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
This is
my
a high
God.
drama session. We're getting to the high drama portion of the campaign. I'm very excited. So I hope that everybody joins us next week for theoretically for the Fool's Errand. We'll see how that goes. But maybe pirates. I don't know. These
No,
this
it's
gang.
Pirates, we're gonna-
This gang, yeah, this
Spoiler.
gang might fight the other group to have their session next week. We'll see how it goes.
Heard it?
Everything's
Listen,
fine.
putting the phrase "so moist" in the chat, like, was like,
Blech. Anyway, so thank you guys for joining us. Let's, of course, thank you to our sponsors, Little Dragon Corp and Cardboard Castle. Make sure to check them out. And tell them we sent you. But that's our episode for tonight. We went quite a bit longer as there was a certain it was a good place that I wanted to get to. I'm glad we got here.
We did it.
So we'll see you next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. For the Fool's Errand, who are kind of in a bit of a seems like a bit of a predicament of their own over there, but we'll see how things turn out with them. I'll be back 2 weeks from now with the follow up to this Nightmare Fuel. So we will see you next week, and we love you.
See you next Tuesday.
Yes,
Matt.
and see you. I was getting there. They yell at me when I don't say see you next Tuesday. See you next Tuesday, everybody. Bye.
Love you, bye.